on top. I'm ready to go. Feeling like a million eyes on me. I'm unstoppable. If you go against me, then you better compete. Yeah, yeah. Why you keep knocking at my door? Came to fight, yeah, that means war. Gotta level up, wanna settle the score. Yeah, it feels a lot better than it did before. What you brand new, yeah, it's time to go pro. Go beast mode, better find a cheat code. On my throne, now I'm in my zone. Better look better than it did before. I said if play don't stop, just do your thing, and you know you gon' be on top. It's my game, it's your game. And let the whole world watch. I said if play don't stop, just keep it going, and you know you gon' be on top. It's my game, it's your game. Go ahead, let them talk.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AMD presents Esports GRANDSLAM with gaming partner Logitech, and our broadcasting partner is going to be Loco. This is semi-finale day number 2. My name is Ritter. Along with me, my co-caster is going to be Darshita. How are you, Darshita?
I'm doing great. And thank you for the great introduction.
Thanks.
Well, today's day, it's gonna be the second day of semi-finales. You know, we were just having a word on how fast the time flies. Day 1 is all over. 6 maps are done. You are just left with some more maps, and if you are not able to perform on that, I guess it's gonna be really difficult for you to, just qualify for the grand finales.
Indeed, it's going to be a very tiring task to actually get qualified when you are unable to perform in day number 1, and then same consistency is there in day number 2 also, because you have to grind more and more. You have to learn from past experiences. If that is not there, I guess the teams are going to choke on very harshly.
I do really agree with that. We have seen this happening the previous day, right? We have seen some teams just excelling so great at this moment, like the number of finishes, the number of placement points that we have our eyes on. Somewhere, yes, some teams are doing great, but somewhere down to that list, we need a comeback. Some teams we do expect a comeback. Their fans expect them to make a great comeback, and I hope eventually day 2 and day 3 will comprise of all that comebacks.
Indeed, the comeback should be there. Teams like Orangutan, teams like EXO are climbing up and up on the leaderboard, and I guess all of us have seen that how EXO has actually dominated the whole day number 1 at this moment. But eventually, we have 4 more days, including this one. So I guess Orangutan has to get a chase. They has to make a lead right now, because all the other teams are going to climb very fastly. Teams like Xpark, teams like 8-Bit are also trying their level best, but Xpark, if I'm not wrong, is still at the bottom of the list. Marcos Gaming is still at the bottom of the list. So these are few teams which has to actually seriously learn from the past experiences, learn from the day number 1, and gain more and more experience, and then put all the efforts which they can in day number 2.
If you ask me, I would definitely say this, that yes, Orangutan is just running away with points. They are not even, collecting points. They are running away with points at this moment. You see them just climbing up, and there's just no team right now that is able to snatch away those points and put them down. No, right now,
Indeed.
the table toppers that we have after overall day 1, it's going to be Orangutan. But yes, today's day is going to be full of comebacks. Day 1 is done and dusted, and yeah, I do hope that day 2 we see a great comeback from teams like Xpark, Hyderabad Hydras, that are really lacking behind at some point of time.
Yeah, of course, that will be very amazing to see that how these teams are going to come up. But with that, let's talk about the whole semi-final situation coming up. So the top 6 teams from quarter finale will face off against 18 invited teams which are invited in the lobby of semi-finale. They shall be split into 3 groups again, battle it up over a span of 5 days, and a total of 30 matches, where each teams will play 20 matches right now. So as you already know, day number 1 has been passed. Only 4 days are left right now. So if I'm not wrong, I guess from total 30 matches, we are left with only 24 matches at this moment. And eventually each day will go with 6 matches, and I guess 4 matches will be played by each and every group, each and every team at this moment. So eventually, let's see how these 4 matches for each and every team is going to be there. Rajita, what do you think about this situation which is going to come up right now? Only 24 maps are left, only 24 fights are left right now. Day number 1 is already over. Points table has been there right now. Orangutan is already leading the charts. Now the leftover teams has to do something serious in the lobby.
I just can say one thing, and that is do or die situation.
Yeah.
If you're not able to perform right now, if you're not able to do it right now, you don't have any chance. Day one, day two, just as day one went on so fast, it will be day two, day three, and day five eventually, and then you can't do anything rather than sit back and regret the time that have passed. So eventually, if you right now work on the mistakes that the teams are, making, and trust me, they are really so small mistakes, either in rotating or either in isolating one of years, or maybe these are really very very small mistakes that we are coming across. And definitely if these teams try to work on them, trust me, there can be a chance of great comeback.
Yeah, of course, there should be a chance of comeback if these teams actually try to overcome those small mistakes which you are telling about, Darshita, like rotational clashes, let's say choosing the right kind of vehicle, choosing right kind of utilities at this moment. We have seen UMP45's meta a lot in the whole tournament, in the whole carnage coming up in the semi-finale, in the quarter-finale. We have seen that people using UMP45 are really putting some devastating damage, but indeed the meta is very strong for UMP45, but still all the other guns have their own capability. For example, let's talk about some DMR, let's talk about some sniper shots. Well, that should be seen in the map of Miramar, if I'm not wrong. We are going to see some more action in day number 2, and of course 4 more days are left. 4 more days of extreme grievance and extreme journey will be there right now, where teams will actually put their efforts a lot. So I think now, I guess the teams are going to learn a lot from their past experiences, because the lobby is going to be pretty much same. All the other teams have been fighted from all the other groups. We have only 3 groups, group A, B and C. So of course teams have been learning about the drop locations, teams have been learning about the whole let's say rotations which each and every team puts, because of course everybody has an LLS, everybody has an IGL which is going to put these things into the consideration to take a fight for the day number 4. What do you think about this?
I do agree with everything that you state, but the only thing, Raider, that is stuck in my mind right now is we just are gonna have top 10 teams qualifying.
Yeah.
And we do not need to forget this, right? We just are gonna, it's just gonna be the top 10 teams that are gonna qualify. And even if you are on the 11th position with 1 less point, you are not gonna qualify. So that's the point where we say that consistency is the key, but even one single point matters here. Even if you are lacking in one single point, and the team on the 10th position has a 1 point extra than you, I mean, you will be just, not qualified because of that one single point. And just imagining the regret, the sadness that the entire team will face. I don't know how to put it into words right now.
Indeed, that would be a very sad sight to see, that when eventually you were very close to get qualified at hashtag 11, just 1 more point to go, but then some other team gets qualified just because they had 1 or 2 points more than you. So that is why each and every 24 teams which are there in the lobby has to put their efforts, has to put their best to get eventually qualified into the battle of grand finale, where teams like VLT, formerly known as IND, teams like Soul, teams like Gaming Esports, 7C Esports, Godlike and Team TSM is going to be there to meet them, to greet them and put a fight very very sharply. So I guess over there that is going to be one hell of a carnage. I guess grand finale, if I'm not wrong, is going to be of 7 days, but before that 7 days, upcoming 7 days, we have to see the whole semi-finale situation coming up. 1 day is already passed, Orangutan already leading the charts. I guess it's going to be very amazing to watch that how today teams are going to put that carnage into the fiction. And I guess now some new strategies could be there, I guess, Darshita.
If you ask me, I would definitely contradict the statement and say I doubt I will see a new strategy today. You know this, right? When you are playing a tournament, and if you try to go in for a new strategy, well, yes, I will definitely agree to the point that the enemies are not sure of the new strategy. But what if the strategy backfires you? What if the way you want it to be played and it doesn't goes your favor? There are a number of what ifs that are stuck in my head right now. But eventually, yes, if you go in for a new strategy right now, it has pros, it has cons. It just depends on how you play it.
Yeah, of course, it depends on too much things, like let's say the zone path, the flight path coming up, the first zone, play zone shrink, and after that how the teams are going to interact, how much teams are left in the last upcoming lobbies. So of course there are too many variables to talk about at this moment, but eventually when the first map will start, the map of Erangel, then we'll see that eventually how the first map is going to play. And let's say the day number 2 space will be declared at that time, that are the teams going for that aggressive end, or should I say, or for the passive end, playing safe at that moment. But eventually let's talk about the whole teams which are there in the lobby. So this is the whole list. Darshita, let's go with it.
Well, we do have 3 groups. That's Group A, Group B and Group C. So, talking about Group A, we do have Team Revenant, EXO, Rivalry, R Esports, Celsius Esports, OR, Team Entity and Team Insane. Group B, we do have Team X-Park, Hyderabad Hydras, Reckoning Esports, Older, Orangutan, Blind, Revenge Esports and Team Mayavi. Well, Revenge Esports and Team Mayavi are the 2 qualified teams in Group A, we have Entity Gaming and Team Insane that are qualified. Group C, well, we do have Skylightz Gaming, Team 8-Bit, Tactical Esports, Enigma Gaming, Marcos Gaming, Team Forever, and the two qualified teams are UDOG India and Team Nugget.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch, Darshada, that how these qualified teams are going to fight it out with the invited team which are there in the lobby. Well, we have seen the domination of Orangutan. They are invited in the lobby, but still, I guess teams like Insane Esports and TT Gaming, even though has got one winner chicken dinner, if I'm not wrong, and they are trying their level best to gain their pace into the whole lobby situation coming up. But only 4 matches have been passed for each and every team. I guess there is a lot of thing to see, lot of thing to watch, lot of thing to learn from that location, from that fight. Teams like Entity Gaming, Insane Esports, Revenge Esports, Team Mayavi, UDOG India, Team Nugget. Well, these teams are coming back and forth in the fight right now, but only one team from this qualified team is actually at the back end, and that's going to be Team Nugget, if I'm not wrong. So this team is not performing up to the mark at this moment.
Right. Yeah, just discussed right now, Rita. There are just small mistakes that are happening. Yeah. We're not just specifically talking about Team Nugget right now. All the qualified teams that we have, that's Team Mayavi. We know the way Team Mayavi performs, right? We have seen them going so aggressive over their enemies that they do not even give them a chance to move. They do not even get a chance to move a muscle over to them, and that's what the performance is of Team Mayavi. But right now, if you see them, yes, they did perform in one match, I guess, where they were on the 2nd or the 3rd position. But again, it was a downfall for them. And I'm just, waiting for that comeback. But let's just have a look on the overall rankings that we had after match 6, where we can see Team Orangutan on the very first position with 2 chicken dinners and a total of 82 for themselves.
Well, I guess, Darshana, that's the only team which has got 2 number of chicken dinners in a single day, and that's really very good to watch that how this team Orangutan is maintaining their consistency. They have got 45 finishes into their consideration. That means they are an aggressive team. But despite of being aggressive, they are very, very well suited in the terms of, let's say, getting the position points also, because they've got 2 winner chicken dinner and a total of 37 rank points. So that's actually really very great for the team. But let's talk about Team Entity Gaming also. They have got one winner chicken dinner, 30 number of finishes, 27 points for the position, total 57 points. Well, I guess there is a huge amount of gap between Team Orangutan and Entity stats at this moment. But of course, teams like Hyderabad Hydras, teams like Celsius, teams like Rivalry are pretty close to Team Entity Gaming and getting that hashtag 2, or should I say runner-up mark at this point, and there could be a clash coming up into that fight. Team Rivalry Esports meanwhile is here with 40 points. Marcos Gaming gaining their pace. I surely remember that Marcos Gaming was the one which was at the bottom of the list, if I'm not wrong. But now look at the pace coming up. That was really very good to watch. But Team Insane Esports coming up hashtag 9 at the first page or at the second page. And other than that, we have UDOG Esports with 29 points, 8-Bit coming up with 29 points. We have Skylightz Gaming 28 points. Team Mayavi is remaining at hashtag 13 with 25 points. Enigma Gaming scoring 24 points. EXO scoring 24 points. Team Tactical Esports scoring 22 points. Well, Darshita, I have a question for you. That what do you think? Which team is going to bounce back from this page? That means page number 2 to page number 1.
Somewhere I can just see each and every team right now. I mean, I'm not just talking about any specific team, because we have seen these teams playing from such a long time, and we literally know the way they perform. And trust me, Raider, I do have this gut feeling that after the end of the semi-finales, day 2, we are gonna see a huge change in the overall rankings. After that's gonna be after match 12, I guess. We are gonna see a huge difference on what we have right now in the overall ranking. So yeah, and if you ask me specifically, even somewhere Team 8-Bit, Team Mayavi, Team EXO, there are specific teams whom I have seen playing so aggressive and going so passive right now. Not yet sure of what the reason is, but definitely sure that they did get a chance to do their homework, and if the homework is done right, changes may seem today only.
Yeah, of course, I'm also waiting for those changes which are going to come in right now. And eventually, if I talk about teams like Revenant, well, they are at the bottom of the list. OR Esports is also at the bottom of the list. Team X-Park is also there with only 13 points for themselves after playing 4 good maps of Erangel Miramar consecutively. And then if I talk about UDOG India, well, they are at hashtag 21. It is a qualified team from quarter finale, and the performance is going down and down for this moment. UDOG India. Revenge Esports also coming up like that with 21 points. Team Nugget also with 20 points. Blind Esports, eventually invited team, still not performing. I guess these teams are trying to learn more and more and gain more and more pace in the lobby. And this might be a case that after day number 2, there is a comeback coming up from these teams, just because they're going to learn all the, let's say, strategies of all the other teams which are going to play in the lobby, and there could be a possible comeback coming up from this location, because we don't want to see any of the team in this location.
Absolutely. We definitely know the thing about these teams. We know that for starting one day, they just wait patiently. They just look at their enemies, they just wait and they just read all the moves that they are making. But suddenly out of nowhere, you will see them making a comeback. Like all these teams, you talk about Team X-Pac, Team OR, Revenant, UDOG, Revenge, all these teams will surely make a comeback, but we just need to wait for that specific right time to arrive.
Indeed, well, you are talking about Team X-Pac, but yesterday we saw that Team X-Pac was not there with the full manpower. I guess Scout was missing from the roster. So I guess that could be a good decision for the team to actually come up with Scout and eventually play with the 4-man power. And then I guess in a squad, you actually has to have 4-man power. Otherwise, the lack of strategies is going to be there right now. Eventually, Mavi is a good IGL, but still, IGLing is not going to work if you have 1-man shot in your lobby, in your roster. So that is something they have to work on it. Other than that, I guess everything is going to be very on par. But let's talk about the schedule coming up, Darshita. We have match number 1 in the map of Erangel. Group A and 2B is going to fight it out. What do you think about this situation?
Well, when you talk about the overall situation of the schedule, the teams need to perform in just two maps. That's Erangel and Miramar.
Yeah.
You got no Senok to play around with. You just do not get that time to, just wait a bit and, just relieve that, yes, now it's map of Senok. We can play very carefully, very calmly. No, you don't do that. In the map of Erangel and Miramar, you surely know how important rotations are, how important your specific and your primary drop location is. Even if you get a clash, that's very very difficult to tackle. And on the other hand, even if you talk about the fly path, once you see that the fly path is not favoring you, that's done. The whole bad scenario starts there and there.
Yeah, of course. Flight path is something which can actually turn the tables really very harshly. But eventually, if I talk about Group A and to B, well, we are going to see Team Revenant Esports, Team EXO, Team Rivalry Esports, R Esports, Celsius Esports, OR Esports, NCT Gaming, Insane Esports coming from Group A. But if I talk about Group B, well, we are going to see X-Pac, Hyderabad Hydras. Then we have Reckoning Esports, Old Esports, Orangutan Gaming, Blind Official, Revenge Esports, and Team Mayavi. Well, of course, guys, these teams are going to grind it out, take their battle into the consideration in the map number 1. That is going to be off map of Erangel. That's a 8 into 8 kilometer map. That is a huge map, but eventually it is going to be surrounded by the water body. So that is why it is comparatively shorter than, let's say, Miramar, and the duration is more shorter. The rotations is going to be shorter, but the flight path is going to be very amazing to watch, because one good shift in the flight path is going to be very amazing for us to watch and, let's say, cast on it, and let's say get some good fights, good initial clashes where the teams are going to fight with the fist, fight with the vehicles, fight with the pistols. Well, I guess that could be a spectacular sight to see.
I mean, I don't want to talk about play zone and fly path right now. I mean, I'm sorry to cut your radar like this,
No
but trust me, the previous day it was just completely a Western day. I was like, please give me a different shift, man. Please give me a different shift. I was just so tired of seeing that Western shift. And today I do hope, please BGMI God, please support me in this and just get me a circle that, is nail biting for everyone.
Yeah, the circle can actually be very, very interesting, and circle could actually turn in a very interesting result. The teams have to play along with the circle, of course, because the play zone is going to bite them out, and once they are in the zone, they are going to play very, very sharply, and I guess teams are going to be very passive for the first two zones. Might be there is a case when the clashes are going to be there, when the flight path is going to be very extreme eastern side, or let's say extreme northern side, then teams going towards the area of military base, or should I say Prismog, are going to actually get affected a lot. But still, the fights are going to be there, still the clashes are going to be there, still the amazing carnage is going to be there, for which we are here to actually see what you will say is going to happen.
I don't know. I'm just out of falling out of words right now. You saw that the previous day. I just wanted something to happen. I just predicted something, and it just went all against my predictions. So yeah, no predictions today even. But yes, I guess one thing that I am really sure of, Raider, right now is today is going to be a passive day for each and every team. I mean, we saw the aggression the previous day. We saw teams going ham over their enemies. They just, going all gun blazings towards them. But today, I guess it will be at a peace. No initial fights, I guess, or maybe something like that. But I don't know exactly till the very first map comes up, till the very first flight path comes up. I'm not sure about anything happening.
Yeah, of course, we all are waiting about the flight path, which is gonna be there anytime soon, and the flight path will be there. The first play zone shrink is gonna be there right now, and then the teams have to put their carnage into a perspective. They have to put some good rotations, of course. They have to get some good utilities, be it some kind of gun, some kind of artificial cover. That is vehicles. You have to get vehicles also in the map of Erangel. Well, I guess we have seen Darshita actually cursing on the vehicles of Miramar, but still, it is gonna be very amazing to watch that how the teams are gonna initiate from this point.
I mean, I don't want to be I don't want to be at the bad spot again, but I am not trusting the stability of vehicles in Miramar. I may be repeating myself, but the previous day we saw what happened. We saw so many players going down due to vehicle. It was either a vehicle explosion that took place, or eventually it was just players got into so much panic that they jumped themselves and it was done for them. So yeah, we saw multiple things happening the previous day. But as it's a new day, as it's a new start, I would suggest to each and every performing team, it's a fresh start. You got a great opportunity. Just make sure to that it works in your favor.
Of course, you have to get all the favors, all the charms into your favor right now, because only top 10 teams are going to qualify. It's not a huge margin. You have to be qualified. You have to be into that margin right now, because 24 good teams of Indian esports community are here right now to present their fight in the Grand Slam of Sky Sports. So of course, it's going to be very amazing to watch that which of those top 10 teams are going to be get qualified. But I guess few teams are there right now which are setting a very good mark. That's going to be Team Orangutan, if I'm not wrong. Teams like Insane Esports are also coming back in the fight. Team NGT Gaming got one good winner chicken dinner. They were at the bottom of the list. They bounced back, and this is something which is going to be again very amazing to watch, that how these bounces are going to be there, because the shift of point level is something we are very eager to reach.
We definitely are. But Raider, I do have, these teams are fighting their hearts out. But I think audience may have these questions. What are they stacking up for? What are they fighting for? It's pride, it's glory, but moreover, it's a huge prize pool. And I would love, Raider, if you take our audience to the prize pool.
Well, the prize pool is going to be of 15 lakh rupees. Massive prize pool there is going to be there right now. So, of course, it's going to be very amazing to watch that which team is going to actually lift the trophy. And at #1, whichever team is going to lift the trophy, they are going to get 8 lakh rupees INR. Other than that, the runner-up team is going to get 3 lakh rupees. The third team, which is going to come in the full grand finale situation, is going to get 1,50,000 rupees. Fourth team is going to get 50,000 rupees. Fifth and sixth sixth place will get you 25,000 rupees each. MVP, that is going to be individual player. A single player which has actually put the whole lobby into carnage, that player is going to get 1 lakh rupees, and MVP team is going to get 50,000 rupees. So this is the kind of prize pool distribution which you are going to see. Well, I guess that's a massive chunk of money, massive chunk of prize pool. But with that, guys, we have a massive map coming up. Let's dive into it.
Well, there you go. The map of Erangel is all set to your screens. And look at the fly path right now going towards somewhere Lipoka. I'm just hoping for not a Western Day once again, but somewhere near military base, Novoroknoi, or the bridge there. I mean, I just have my eyes set on that bridge, that please get that zone to the bridge. I really want to see some bridge fights happening.
Yeah, of course, we want to see a lot of bridge fights coming up at this moment. I guess if the zone is on the southern corner, there could be a good clash coming up. I guess if I'm not wrong, that's RGE Esports and some other team also fighting it up. But look at that, Darshita. We have a northwestern shift at central shift engine, I guess.
I mean, this is what happened the previous day. The same, exactly the same. But not so same. We do have one clash on the military base areas down there.
Yeah.
We do see one fight happening somewhere. I guess that's our esports player. Okay, that's going to be an amazing fight to have our eyes on.
Yeah, of course, I guess that's RGE Esports fighting it up, and if I'm not wrong, that could be Orangutan Gaming. No, that's not Orangutan Gaming. That is some other team. We'll have a site very soon on that location. But let's talk about some other clashes coming up. I guess Team Blind is pretty vacant on the areas of Prismark. I guess their vicinity is going to be very vacant at this point. Other than that, we have Team 17. That is going to be Team Revenge Esports also coming back from the areas of Orangutan Gaming, and there could be a clash coming up. But Darshita, I can already see that Team Orangutan Gaming is pretty split on the areas of military base bridge. But meanwhile, as you all can see, we have a Reckoning Esports wrecking the havoc on Team UDOG Esports.
Well, one player is already down to the ground. On the other hand, Scannery there is just trying to, gather more and more information. There you can see Jadu even waiting for information, and I guess that's the most important part there. But Canary, with that grenade, oh my God, what are you exactly up to, Canary? I mean, there's no window nearby. What exactly are you up to? But when you talk about the other teams, they're just finding themselves a small compound, having all their hands on the loot they can collect for themselves.
Oh, these small compounds. Well, the loots can be there right now, but of course, I guess not. That's not going to be sufficient for these teams right now. Look at that; they are already pushing on to UDOG Esports, Ninja YT, and I guess this push can be very, very, very tiring for Team UDOG Esports. And if Ninja also goes down, well, that is going to be very effective for the fight. And I guess these guys know that Ninja is going to be there. Look at the micro Uzi shot coming up, and there we go. Maxi was the one to get that upper hand onto the fight, and just like that, Team Reckoning has secured 2 good finishes. I guess these initial frags can be very amazing to watch. But meanwhile, Darshita, look at it. We have Molly's, we have UMP 45 meta working up, and Team Esports versus NGT Gaming is going on in the area of military base.
I mean, I just said a while ago that we could see a passive day today, but I just need to bite my words back because these teams are not going to stop. They are just going to go all ham over their enemies. On the other hand, Kennedy is just trying to go in for that grenade since a long time, but not sure yet of what exactly he is planning to do. Meanwhile, Oldwood, not a really good start for them, losing 2 players in the early 4 minutes.
Yeah, of course. After losing these 2 good players of their team, I guess they are going to be very man-shotted and let's say very passive from this point, and they're going to aim for the position point if I'm not wrong, because if they want to go aggressive, I don't think the manpower is there for them. And if I talk about Entity Shadow, look at the placement he has got right now. He's just sitting over there on that tower. He's just waiting to get one good guy from Team Esports and getting a good grasp on it. But if I talk about Entity Troy, this was the guy whose vehicle was burst in the map of Miramar. So let's see, is it going to burst the bubbles of Team Esports or not? That's going to be the major concern. Look at that. Kennedy was sacked out very harshly. I guess he's at 30 HP and the shot comes in. I guess Zacklord could be picked up from this point, and there we go. Kennedy was the one to get that elimination, but Kennedy has been backstabbed. He is like, I'm gonna pick you up, and just like that, the finish was there. I guess now Dark Lord has been picked up, but there could be a successful revival. And look at the placement of Team Entity, Darshita. They are very, very keen on actually flanking him on off, and there we go. I guess Esports Hero comes up with a brutal blow, but that's not gonna be enough for the team just because they have been tagged out from multiple directions. And look at that, Shadow with this beautiful mini 14 is constantly tagging out all the long range weapon players.
I mean, I really like the position Shadow is holding right now. He's just not giving any chance to the sides of our esports to even move a muscle. Even if you come in a complete open area, Shadow is there, and you are just all done. That's something that you need to be really careful about. Talking about the other hands, that's our esports right now. They are really running low, or I may say they are falling. You see, one player is already said the goodbye. There are just 3 remaining players. On the other hand, the player are being tagged completely. Like, they are just been registering a lot of damage. And there you go, Shadow once again utilizing his position way too beautifully, trying to take Hero down. Oh, okay, that's gonna be a tap shots coming from his side. But Hero low on HP has some first aid to work around with. But once again, running low on one player. I'm just not yet sure will he be able to do it or no.
Well, of course, we can see in the lobby we have teams Xpark going down at this moment. Vero has been picked up by the hands of Team UDOG Esports. I don't know what UDOG Esports is trying to do, but of course, taking a fight with this kind of team can be very tiring for the team, and there could be a full stop coming up from that location. But I guess Vero could be revived. We have Scout in the lobby, and then we also have Barosa Rak, and then we have Vero, and if I'm not wrong, that's going to be the other guy. Now Sultan is here. Klaus was picked up, if I'm not wrong, but they have been healed up. That is really very sweet to watch. But TX Vero meanwhile has been picked up. I guess Team Xpark is going to get that back up into the consideration, and now Sultan is trying to pressurize Gomlumano. Let's say Scout is there in the vehicle, and I guess he is AFK. Okay, that is the guy, and he's trying to back out the vehicle so that the vehicle doesn't get damaged, and then they could take the fight. And now I guess Team UDOG Esports is at a good spot for this time, but eventually when Team TX is going to push in, that would not be good for their team.
Vero is been brought back to his life, but is running low on HP. Like, there you go, he's been patched. He patched himself up completely, but once again the thing remains the same, that you see them, his armor is completely damaged, and even 1 or 2 bullets can make him go off to the ground once again. That's something he needs to be really careful on. But meanwhile, on the other hand, when you talk about Entity and our esports, once again Jadu is down to the ground. We do have 2 surviving players. That's going to be Rockstar and Hero. Well, Jadu has been eliminated completely. Team Entity is looking pretty strong at this moment, and they are just trying to wipe the squad completely there and there.
Of course, they will try their level best to actually wipe them out, because now I guess in the map of Erangel, you don't see that much of third parties in the first zone, so that is a very good thing for the team. NTT, or should I say Team Hyderabad Hydras, whichever team is fighting in the initial zone can easily pick out 4 frags for themselves without losing one good guy. And if that happens, that would be a very tiring thing for the teams. But Team Hyderabad Hydras, we have a Manti OP going with the Scarl and 4x at this point to actually get more and more knocks, get some first knocks in the lobby. Now we have as Ace Black, Carry, Manti, and Striker for the win. And yesterday we had seen HH. First knock, if I'm not wrong, that was the guy which was playing for the team, and he was really very good. But eventually the roster is slightly changed for today, but let's see how the game is going to shift with the roster change. But if we talk about Team Esports, that's a good strategy for the team. That is why they are trying to fall back, they are trying to get the position point, and of course guys, that would be really very lovely for them. Now if I talk about Hyderabad Hydras, well, they are very keen on getting some good grasp of the loot and then eventually push in. I guess they are in the zone, that's a great thing for them. They have some good utilities, they have some good vehicles, artificial cover for themselves, so I guess there could be a fight coming up. There could be a small tag coming up in both of these teams.
I mean, this upcoming UMP meta raider has just got me into a state of shock right now. I just mean, I know that this gun is a disaster in a close range, but still we see so many players playing with that one specific gun. But meanwhile, when you talk about Esports, their hero well has been just into a really difficult state right now. All the 4 players of entity are all set to just make an aggressive push over him and just not okay. Vehicle, no, you are not doing that, Shadow. Please don't do that. Please don't tell me that you are doing. Okay. Oh my God, I just thought for a moment that he's just gonna take that vehicle and go over hero. But yeah, all of them I guess are really sure about the position that hero is holding right now. Dark Lord can be caught, is really low on HP, but Shadow utilizing his position very amazingly has to go down, but on the same time Dark Lord is down to the ground.
Yeah, that was a very good fight coming up right now. I mean, Shadow was trying to actually put that vehicle into perspective, but I guess that was a diversion. That was just a deception for the team right now, and Team Entity fall into that hand. And then eventually you can see that we also have Team Revenge also fighting it out in front of Team Orangutan, if I'm not wrong. That's the leaderboard table topper. And if Team Revenge manages to put them down, that would be really a very lovely sight for them, because now, if I'm not wrong, Team Revenge is onto the page number 3. They are at hashtag 17 or 18 if I'm not wrong, but Team Orangutan is at top, and eliminating them this early is going to lift them a lot. So I guess there could be a good casualty, there could be a good fight coming up. And other than that, look at the string coming up, Darshita. We have a central zone shift and all the other teams are trying to pressurize. Look at the number of vehicles in the map which are trying to push in the zone. And if I talk about some other teams like Revenant, well, they have been tagged out quite severely.
Well, yes, that's going to be true. On the other hand, I do feel somewhere that it's going to be a Pochinki day today. Maybe we can, somewhere see the zone lurking around the areas of Pochinki. But you look at NTT and our esports down there in the military base. It's way too far for them to travel, and they are just look at that. NTT Gaming with that vehicle is trying to go through the Nova Oknoi bridge, but guess what? Rivalry is somewhere near to them, and if this clash happens, Team Entity can get into a lot more of problems.
Yeah, of course, these clashes can be really very ugly in the initial two zones because you are not going to get any kind of position points, and if these clashes turn in really very ugly for your team, you are going to get eliminated also, so no finishes point for you too. So that is something they have to be worried about. If we talk about Team OH, look at that, they have been flanked from 3 directions. You can see that Team 13 is literally trying to flank them out, literally trying to bring them off, and at this point Team Reckoning can be actually very devastating for this team right now. And Team OH, Claus and Sultan are pretty much open-ended at this point, and if any team is on the Georgipur hill, they could easily pick them off. Now Kirito comes up with a beautiful blow of for DP20, and with that I guess they get that elimination. Maxi comes up with a brutal blow, and Team Mayavi is shining once again in the lobby. Team Reckoning Kirito has been picked off. Look at the kill feed going on at this point, Arshita. N number of teams are fighting, N number of players are going down at this point.
It's just running. It's just running. You talk about Reckoning there. They have lost 2 of their players. Right now we do have skill. Okay, Old getting eliminated. That's going to be the very first team getting eliminated in the early 12 minutes. And I just was about to say that when you know that you are running low on players, taking a fight in a complete open area can cause you trouble, and that's what exactly Old faced. On the other hand, you talk about Team OR and Team X-Park getting into a fight there. You can see Vexy with that grenade. I guess he's just waiting for a confirmed location of the enemies, and there you go, Viru with that grenade. I doubt he'll be getting any connection. Well, yes, he has to satisfy himself with some damages, Viru will be going in for. Okay, I guess I see Team X-Pac going really aggressive on their enemies. Viru with that grenade once again. Team OR is into a bit of difficulties. That grenade can be damaging. Well, yes, this is a lot of damage on Vexy there once again. Viru with that grenade, but there you go. Barosarak with that grenade will take down Vexy, and he is just like, you can definitely trust me.
I mean, it is going to be very interesting to see from this point that how these good old buddies can fight right now. And look at that. We have Aditya trying to actually eliminate a Viru coming from the right angle. I guess Viru doesn't know. But there we go. The location was exposed. Aditya was the one which was gatekeeping at that point. And just like that, the elimination was there right now. The knockout was there and they have secured one finish. I guess they are not going to let them get a revival. Vexy is still going for that revival. Aditya also getting tagged out from this point. I guess Gomlumon and the other guys, other buddies are going to fight it out. Vexy goes on by the hands of Celsius team. And look at the third party coming up at this point, Darshita. That's what I was talking about. That from initial first two zones, you are not going to see third parties, but then eventually look at the third parties coming up. Now Barosarak has been picked off. Mavi has been there right now. Mavi is trying to eliminate more and more buddies at this point, and eventually going for that revival for Barosarak. And look at that, guys. OR Jelly also getting tagged out. Look at that beautiful stable spray of AKM. And other than that, he has a DP28 in his backpack. But if I talk about Gomlumon, well, he is at a very back foot side and he's trying to get some elimination from that point. That's great. But Team OR, look at the decimation that OR is getting at this point.
Well, they definitely are. Jelly has been picked off completely. Aditya is running low on HP, and there you go. So the sides of Team X-Pac are right now. Aditya just left behind into that shack, the only surviving player and the only hope for his entire team. But Team Celsius marking a third party at this point of time. I mean, okay, that's gonna be the elimination of the sides of Team OR. We do have Team X-Pac with 2 finishes, but Team Celsius, well, any moment can I see them pushing over to the sides of Team X-Pac? Well, no, they will go directly into the zones. But Raider, I really like the way Team X-Pac, just made an aggressive push to this fight. Somewhere, yes, the third party of Team Celsius there just jeopardized everything. But eventually, yes, it was an amazing fight.
It was very amazing fight to see that how the teams are trying to fight it out. Well, Team X-Pac came in the fight, then OR actually slammed it onto that compound, because we already know that after looting the compounds of let's say Water City, Team X-Pac actually pushes onto that compound after eliminating Team OH and getting some tags by Team OH. Then Team X-Pac went onto that area. Then OR came in. After that, Team Celsius was also there. They got 2 good frags from Team OR also. That was really very good to watch. But now, eventually, if I talk about Team EXO, well, EXO is pretty close to some other team going to fight it out right now. I guess that could be Team Rivalry if I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's Team Rivalry if I'm not wrong. Yeah, we have Snacks coming up onto the angle. The other guys, that is going to be Sensi, the IGL, Panku, the Assaulter, and Fierce is also going to be there. Yesterday, if I'm not wrong, we had seen Fierce's 1v3, and that is again something which we want to see in the lobby. So let's see what eventually happens. But yet again, Darshita, a new zone is going to build from this point. So I guess new strategies are going to be there, new clashes are going to be there from this point.
Yes, that's gonna be the case. Entity Shadow down to the ground there. Dark Lord just fell off the vehicle and injured himself really bad. On the other hand, when you talk about the sides of Team Rivalry, well, they'll be just holding these edges right now. I guess they are not sure of the fact that Team EXO has already rotated and made their way to the zone, but there you go. Entity Troy with that grenade, will he be able to make any kind of connection? Well, that's gonna be really needed. Reckoning Esports on the other hand, Noob trying to cover himself with some great smokes. I don't know, it's gonna be a 2v2 fight right now. The vehicle is being completely covered up, and I guess they will just decide to disengage of the fight and play really safe and with the zone.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they have to play really very safe eventually, because they have to get some good position points, as we earlier talked about the whole situation coming up, whole leaderboard shift coming up. So that is why Team NGT is remaining with only 2 good guys of their team right now, and that's going to be Troy, and if I'm not wrong, Noob has been picked off. Now if I talk about Team Orangutan, look at that, Darshita. They have got 3 good finishes. They have not lost even a single player of their team. So that's a good side for them. But if I talk about Team Celsius, look at that. They have a clash coming up. They are going to fight it out with Team NGT. I guess there could be a casualty coming up from that point. Let's see how the fights are going to build from this location. If I talk about Team Orangutan, well, I guess Exo Sensi, the IGL of Team Exo, is going to be on the sides of Team OG. Well, I guess there could be a casualty developing. Team Rivalry, meanwhile, going ham on Team HS. That's going to be Hyderabad Hydras getting picked up by the hands of Team Rivalry. MVP manages to wipe out Mandy also, but now Snacks is going down. Team Exo is raining havoc. That's going to be Fierce with a good knockout, with a beautiful knockout coming up, and now Ash has to push in. We also saw Ash coming up with some brutal blows yesterday. Ash did a 1v3 on Team Celsius in the map of Miramar from lower ridges on the higher ridges, and look at the nades getting from the location of OG Pehchan Con.
I'm just waiting for what this fight is gonna serve us. We know both of the teams. They are so strong with the gunpowder, with every needed thing. But right now, Team OG is running really low on players. They have lost 2 of their players, but on the other hand, Team X-Pac has lost 3 of their players, and it's just the last surviving player for themselves. Right now, into a dip, but I'm not sure whether for how long can he make his way. You can see 2 teams there. There you go. Trigger will be okay. That was a nice play. He manages to take 1 player down.
Dude.
Eventually, was that the second one? Well,
Oh.
no. That's not happening. Team Exo manages to completely eliminate the sides of
Wow.
Team OG there, where the 2 players are already down. But on the other hand, Scout got a great opportunity to make a really aggressive push on the sides of Team Exo. As you can see, they are really running low on players, and I guess yes, Scout will definitely do that.
Yeah, of course. This could be a great opportunity for Scout at this moment. Look at that, guys. He could easily get that elimination into the perspective. Now, if I'm not wrong, Panku has been... Okay, that was Fierce, which has been picked off at this point. But there another guy comes up. There was a 1v1 getting the site right now. That was amazing. But Scout is pretty much empty-handed. He's going to get 1 frag. But now, eventually, Panku with some random shots in the smoke has actually put down Team X-Pac with only 3 finishes. I get X-Pac is going to get only 4 points in this match because 3 frags and 1 point for the position. But look at that. Striker for the win is getting some ham on damage by the UMP45 of Vulture 07 from Team Rivalry. Well, that was literally very amazing to watch. But now, I guess Darshita, we are left with only 40 seconds for the zone coming up. What do you think about the shifts coming up in this zone?
Well, I'm just waiting to see what the next zone is really like. All the other rounds you talk about the sides of Team Rivalry. Well, Hyderabad Hydras are into a lot more of difficulties there. 1 player is down to the ground. The second player can be pushed at any moments by the sides of Team Rivalry there. But the hilly ridges are something that can cause a lot more of problems to both of the teams. But right now, there you go. Rivalry with that vehicle Vulture will be trying to go in for some different angle, some different flag to make sure that the whole squad is eliminated there and there. But meanwhile, let's just take our attention to the sides of Team Blind as well. With 1 finish, we do have the sides of Team Blind. 1 player really running low on HP, not sure of how he's been tagged, but there you go. 1 player down to the ground. Vulture trying his level best to take the other one down as well. There you go. He's been caught as well, really running. Oh my god, he was just so low on HP, but that was a great cover fire by the sides of Team Rivalry, and 1 more team eliminated, Raider.
With this, we can see that only 8 teams and 26 players are going to be alive in the lobby. Well, that was really very amazing to watch that how the carnage is coming up. Team Hyderabad Hydras were trying their level best, and I guess that was the last man standing of his team, which actually did a 1v1, but eventually the backup was there, eventually the cover fire was there, and that is why they were picked out. But look at Team Insane getting down by the hands of Team Mayavi. Well, they are trying really best to actually get more and more points into their consideration. They are at hashtag 13 in the leaderboard, so that is why they have to gain more pace. And Joker is here, Nakul is going to be there, and I guess Mana is also going to be there. But Team Blind, eventually after scoring the good position points, I guess they are at hashtag 8, so that's great for them. But I guess Team Mayavi is going to push in. They're not going to let him go, and that is why I guess Team Blind could be picked off. And yeah, that's what happened. Team Blind has been taken down, and just like that, Team Mayavi has secured 7 good points, and this is the aggression which I was talking about, and this is the aggression which we were expecting from Team Mayavi. But now some good competition is also there for them. That is going to be Team Rivalry, that's going to be Team Revenge, that's going to be Team Reckoning. Team Celsius is still in the lobby, so of course it is going to be very amazing to watch. And I guess a blue dot is there also in the minimap. That's going to be Team Exo, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, I mean, yes, that's going to be Exo Fierce. Their Rivalry with that grenade will be taking 1 player down. Well, I'm really, waiting to see some 1v2 and 1v3 with that grenades. But on the other hand, you talk about Revenge Esports will be eliminated, and we do have top 5 teams with 15 alive players, where we have just crossed the 21-minute mark. On the other hand, talking about Team Celsius, they are just trying to take as many finishes as they can. You see them with 8 finishes. Nakul has been caught into really open areas, and Max with that FO16 is just trying to, just give some random shots into that smoke with the hope of taking a single player down.
Yeah, of course, these random shots can be very tiring to watch, because once a connection is being made, you can easily trace down that way the players are right now. But eventually, with 5 teams and 14 players still left in the lobby, Team Rivalry is also getting very harsh competition from Team Mayavi. Well, they have got 8 good points. That's really very good to watch. But eventually, if I talk about Nakul, well, he's trying his level best with this good TP28, but he's also getting retaliation. If I talk about Fierce, look at him. He's just sitting in a shark and just sitting like a duck at this moment, because he knows even if he moves a little bit, his position will be revealed, and a good nade could eventually take him out. And that is something he has to be pretty aware about.
Well, definitely that can be. On the other hand, when you talk about win prediction, well, Team Mayavi and Celsius do have the same amount of, percentage of win prediction. On the other hand, Rivalry with 21, Reckoning with 14, and EXO with 7. EXO is running really low on that win prediction side, but yes, by the way they are playing, it can be great for them. Celsius Max will be taking down Team Mayavi. Knuckle there. Okay, that kill was just stolen by Rivalry there. Oh my god, Team Rivalry is even somewhere nearby looking around. 5911 will be trying to go in for some random shots once again, but not getting any connections. But look at this man. Just look at this man. He just opened the door, boosted the vehicle outside the door, and right now is just waiting patiently inside.
Yeah, the patience is going to be very amazing to watch because they have to be very strategized at this point because the zone is going to slam in, 6 zone is going to come in, and at this point I guess each and every team is trying to go for that winner chicken dinner, the first ever winner chicken dinner in the team number 2 of semi-finale of AMD presents SKYESPORTS GRANDSLAM. Well, that could be very amazing to watch, but look at the needs of look at the exchange of utilities that is coming up. Oh, Skrills was picked up by the good nade by the hands of team. That was brilliant, a good nade coming up in the smoke, and just like that Skrills was toasted. And if I'm not wrong, Team Rivalry has a good high ridge, but still they have to be in the zone, and if I'm not wrong, that's going to be Team Reckoning. Mr. Spray going for the heal battle. I guess he could easily secure top 3 position. That would be lovely for the team. EXO, oh wow, look at that. Team EXO still remaining in the lobby. He's still actually sitting like a duck at this point, and he's just have some good utilities. He could take a 1v1 1v2 because he knows he doesn't have that let's say depletion of utilities, or let's say west and mid, so there could be a good fight coming up from that angle, but nobody's focusing onto that track just because no kind of movement was there, no kind of fight was there at that point. So that is why I guess he's really very safe at this point. But now the 7th zone is going to come in, and I guess that is something he should be worried about.
He's not even moving a muscle there. I mean, someone just give me this level of patience. I do really need that in my life. But jokes apart, talking about the sides of Team Celsius, they are looking really good today. You see them, right? With 9 finishes, they are really doing a good job. They have 2 players into the zone, 2 players out of the zone, trying to. Oh, okay, Fierce was just, oh my god, we just were waiting for one grenade to enter the track, and there you go. Celsius made sure that the grenade was so on pinpoint. Well, Fierce has to say a goodbye. We have 3 remaining teams with us with 10 alive players. Reckoning will be eliminated. We do have the sides of Team Mayavi, Team Celsius, and Team Rivalry. I am just waiting for a new team to come up with a chicken dinner, and I guess Team Mayavi needs it. They really need it at this point of time to completely boost their momentum, to boost their confidence.
Yeah, of course, they really do need a winner chicken dinner, and I guess all the other teams actually need a winner chicken dinner because if I'm not wrong, none of them have got a winner chicken dinner in the first day one. So that is why each and every team is actually more than viable to get that winner chicken dinner. Team Mayavi with 3-man power, Team Celsius with the 4-man power, Team Rivalry with the 3-man power is here to fight it out. But I guess Team Celsius has got a good grasp of the lobby. Look at that, they have 2 guys on the left angle so that they can eventually put down each and every rotation which is going to be there. And if I'm not wrong, Team Mayavi is pretty much cornered onto the left location, and they have to push in very sharply in the zone, and the only team which has a major chunk of the zone, well, that's going to be Team Celsius, and there could be a good winner chicken dinner for them. And there we go, Rivalry MVP comes up with Joker, and he actually finishes Joker out at this moment, but dreams have been picked off by the hands of Vulture 07. That was a great shot, that was a great pick off, and by that side I can see that Team Celsius is also getting decimated by the hands of Team Rivalry.
I mean, Team Rivalry is just out of the zone, but at a pinpoint. I mean, just look at the position they are holding right now. It can be devastating for the enemies, but at the same time for them as well. So yeah, it is just like a pros and cons, everything else. On the other hand, talking about Team Celsius, well, they do have Apollo completely inside the zone who can really wait back and just wait for the enemies to enter. But on the other hand, one player is down to the ground who needs to be brought back to his life. Rivalry needs to push onto there, and there you go. He makes choice to take Manya down. It was really on a pinpoint precise praise, but Celsius Apollo now is sure of the location of where Rivalry is holding, and there you go, play zone. Well, Manya is being hit by a lot of more damage, and same goes to the sides of Edmino as well. Even if he is just 1 second late of applying that grenade, that could cause a lot more of damage. But look at Apollo, look at this man, man. He's just fighting till his last breath there. 2 players down, 1 player is down. Team Mayavi is eliminated on the other hand. Celsius Vexy with that grenade. This is devastating. No, this grenade can't be so precise. This can be devastating for the enemies. Well, is it so? I mean, there you go. That grenade was so pinpoint precise. Wixie, he is just going ham. Vulture is being caught. His location is being
Nice.
revealed. And there you go. That's going to be a victory for the sides of Team Celsius in the very first map of second day semi-finales of AMD presents Sky Esports Grand Slam.
Well, a very nice victory with some good amount of frag. I guess they could easily secure close to 30 points in a single match. That was really very lovely, and that was really very sharp comeback coming up from the fight, and that was very interesting to watch that how Team Celsius went on ham, how Team Celsius went on to gain more and more points. But let's go to the caster deck to talk more about it. Well, it was very amazing to watch that how Team Celsius went on with the fight right now. They had that UP45, they had the utilities. Usage of utilities were very on point. They knew that when to heal up, they knew when to have boosters, when not to have the boosters. They knew when to put the nades right now. In the last fight, you saw major of the fight was over by the nade because Team Rivalry was pretty much cornered beyond that drop, and that's why I guess they were picked off just like that. They were picked off like a bunch of popcorn. They were just buzzed out from the fight and they were just picked off. It was very amazing to watch. We were unable to, let's say, decipher what was going on in the lobby. Just some nades going on, just some frags going on, and that was literally very interesting to watch. Team Mayavi on the left side was picked off really very early in the fight. I guess they were unable to be in the zone, and that is something they had to work on. That is something that's why they actually choked on to the winner chicken dinner. And yesterday also we saw something like that when they were actually in the battle of Erangel in front of Team Hyderabad Hydras. This was the same thing which happened, but eventually this is day number 2. You had to learn something new. You did. Team Mayavi did their best, but eventually Team Celsius went up with the championship trophy, let's say, of this match.
I mean, I really, loved the way Team Celsius handled the zone.
Yeah.
You just look at them, 2 players were, inside the zone, 2 players were outside the zone where Team Rivalry was waiting. And that's where the 2 players of Team Celsius made sure that Rivalry doesn't even get a single chance of moving a muscle. And that's where all the difficulties begin. But eventually, yes, Team Mayavi on the other hand was putting so much pressure on both of the sides that eventually some of the isolated players, some single or duo players had to go down and had to say a bye. But what happened next was the play zone. Team Mayavi was out of the play zone, and that's where we saw them just saying a complete goodbye. And at the end, Team Celsius, well, the grenades. It was just raining hell on the enemies, and out of that panicking situation, Team Celsius managed to take that winner chicken dinner, a delicious chicken dinner, I would say, for themselves.
Yeah, of course, a delicious winner chicken dinner for them right now, because in the day number 1 they tried their real best. But eventually they were unable to get any kind of victory into the perspective. They were able to get some good frags, but then also the winner chicken dinner was not into their favor. But in this match, in the day number 2 start of semi-finale, well, they got the winner chicken dinner with some good amount of frag. I don't remember the number of frags they got, but still I guess that could be close to 12 to 15, and that would be really very lovely. That would be a huge bump for them. And of course, we wanted to see some backdrop teams coming up into the front pages. The Celsius could be one from this point.
They can be one. Eventually, I like the way Team X-Park was aggressing this map. I mean, we saw that, right? The number of grenades, the number of the amount of pressure this team put on the sides of Team OR. But eventually, once again, Team Celsius were there to make a third party, and 2 finishes were registered in the name of Team X-Park, whereas 2 finishes were registered on the name of Team Celsius there. And that's how frustrating the situations can be. Just imagining that you are having a complete 4v4 fight, and out of nowhere you get caught into a third party situation. Man, oh man, I don't know how do I put it through.
It is very devastating for you, because you are focusing onto a fight. Somebody else is going to burst you from the back behind, and you are unable to decipher it, that what is going to happen. Some nade comes through, some good spray comes through, one single tap shot on your head is going to be there, and just like that you are going to go down. Well, you are focusing onto a single fight, then some other fight comes up. Of course, their whole decision, or let's say whole carnage, is going to shift a lot, and that is why teams get splitted. And I guess, if I'm not wrong, in the battle between OR and Team TX and Team Celsius, Scout was the one who was AFK. He was in the backdrop areas, he was away from the keyboard, he was unable to do anything. But eventually when he came back, he tried to eliminate one guy from Team EXO. He did one damage for them. I guess that's what Spunku, who was very eliminated. Then Pierce actually came up with the random spray in the smoke, and just like that, few bullets got connected, and Scout was also picked off. With that, the end of Team TX was there. Only 4 points for Team TX in this match. Of course, we are going to see the whole leaderboard stats coming up very soon. So be ready about that, because now shifts are going to be there for sure.
I'm waiting for highlights right now. Just show me what happened once again. I mean, yeah, I know I've been sitting on this chair and I just casted the entire map, but please show me the highlights once again. I'm definitely waiting to see what all happened. It was just like you you do not get a chance to blink eye. I mean, if
Yeah,
you do that, even if you do that for a period of 1 second, you miss a lot of things.
of course, a lot of action was going on in the lobby in the last few zones. Let's say from the third zone to the seventh zone, and number of action was there. The kill feed was always it. It's not like the kill feed was going to stop. Every team was getting decimated. Team Blind was getting punched by Team Mayavi. Team Mayavi was getting punched by Team Celsius. Celsius was raining havoc on Team Rivalry. It was like, let's say, a huge amount of battle going on. Eventually, when Team Rivalry was trying to fight it out with actually, let's say, that was Team Hyderabad Hydras, if I'm not wrong, on the Georgipur Hill. That was also very amazing. Last man standing of Team Hyderabad Hydras came up with a beautiful UMP45 shot. He did a 1v1, a backfire was there, a cover was there, and just like that, Team Hyderabad Hydras has to say goodbye from the lobby. Well, these are the things which is going to happen, of course, in the competitive lobby. You are going to see some third parties. Eventually, the map of Miramar is going to be the next one, where you are going to see fourth and fifth parties also. So, of course, it's going to be very amazing to watch that how these teams are going to tackle with it.
In the end, we are hosting the parties, right? We are really hosting these parties. May it be a third, may it be a fourth, may it be a fifth party. It really can be very devastating at this point of time. Well, the Erangel, this map was, I would say, somewhere at a peace, but somewhere way too aggressive at the same point of time. I mean, you see someone going so. We saw, right? We saw many fights happening, but after losing one or two of their players, they were just disengaging from the fight. And I guess that can be a great decision for the entire team. When when you are sure that you are really running low on manpower, you just go in for. Disengagement of the fight, and you just save yourself with some great position points. I guess that can be a great strategy to work around with.
Oh, let's talk about the strategy by seeing the highlights. Let's see what highlights it comes up with right now. And this was the fight we were talking about. Look at that. Goblin Warners, let's say Scout was pretty on the back foot areas, and Celsius comes up with the team Entity, and they were trying to blow them out. And then eventually, look at that. Trigger comes up with a good knockout with this beautiful barrel, and then eventually he was picked up by the hands of Pierce. That was also when good elimination, one good fight coming up from that angle. But eventually, the battle was put forth into the perspective of Team X-Pac, and Goblin One comes up with a brutal blow. He actually eliminated one good guy, that was Sensi. The IGL of his team was eliminated, and then eventually the whole battle was over. If I talk about Team Hyderabad Hydras, well, they were trying their real best to get more and more frags. Eventually Team Blind had the good grasp. I guess Team Blind was on the bottom of the lobby, on the third page of the whole leaderboard stats, and they were trying their real best to get more and more position points. Team Insane is also one of those teams which is trying real best to get the grasp in the lobby, but then eventually they were crushed down by Team Mayavi. Team Mayavi also crushed down the other team, which is one as Team Blind. Then Celsius comes with some brutal blows, and look at the frag coming up, look at the shot coming up at that point, and this was the need when our wow just happened.
I mean, Team Celsius is just doing so amazing in the very first map. If this is the way they perform entirely to the whole day, I guess Team Orangutan has to be really careful of someone snatching away the throne from them. On the other hand, you see that happening. The last shot, there were just. Rains of grenades happening. It was completely hell raining on them, and that's where it got them into a lot more of panic. But eventually, yes, I really loved the way Team X-Pac was going so aggressive towards their enemies. But Team Celsius, it's just that you go to any fight, somewhere around the corner you can see Team Celsius coming out of nowhere.
Indeed, man. In each and every fight, you can see that Team Celsius is giving some kind of tag, some kind of fight, some kind of burst, some kind of knocks, and that was literally very amazing to watch. But when eventually we talk about Team X-Pac, they were also trying their real best. They were unable to get that victory. But now let's talk about the star of the match. Celsius Apollo is going to be going all out with 6 amazing frags in his favor and a total damage of 669. If I talk about Entity Noob from Team Entity Gaming, that was the best companion with 3 revivals and a total of 1 assist. Health restore point is going to be 316. Survival time is going to be 964. Other than that, if we talk about Celsius Vixie, well, that was the final nail into the coffin, and with this, the whole match was over. Celsius Vixie's spray was there. I guess that was UMP45, and Team Rivalry was onto the crosshair. 2 finishes for him, 2 assists for him. Distance travel is going to be 9269, and other than that, the survival time was also 1543. Well, that was really very well placed and really very well, let's say, strategized for Team Celsius. That was really very amazing, because despite of having guns, Team Celsius also decided to use some other utilities, such as, let's say, hard cover of their artificial covers or vehicles. Then they also use the nades, they also use the smokes. Everything which comes in the BGMI backpack should be there, should be used, so that eventually you can gain the piece. And yeah, this is going to be the whole semi-finale, day number 2 after match number 7 overall standing. Well, that is going to be very interesting to watch, Darshita.
It is. Celsius Esports with a total of 29 for themselves. That's 14 finishes and a total of 15 for the delicious chicken dinner. On the second position, we have the sides of Team Rivalry with a total of 22 and 10 finishes. Team Mayavi on the third position with a total of 18 and 8 finishes. I guess this is the Team Mayavi we are talking about, right?
Yeah.
The aggression, the gunpowder. This is exactly what we are talking about. Reckoning Esports on the fourth position with a total of 13. Team EXO on the fifth position with a total of 10. Blind Esports and Orangutan with a total of 5. Revenge, Insane and Team Xpark with 4. Entity with 3. Hyderabad Hydras and OR Esports with 2. R Esports with 1. But once again, Team Revenant and Oldwood with 0 points for themselves.
Oh.
This is gonna be really tough.
Of course, UDOG Esports was trying to come back. Team Revenant, which is already on the back foot of the lobby, well, they are again going on the backdrop areas just because they have 0 frags. I don't know what is happening to the team right now. They should actually imply some great strategies from this point, because now 5 matches have been passed and only 20 matches are going to be there. 5 matches have been passed. 1/4 of your whole, let's say, journey is already over, and now already 15 matches are going to be there, and that could be anything. You don't know what is the comeback going to come up, because all the other teams are trying their level best. Teams like Celsius are gaining more and more points. 14 flag for them, 15 points for the position. Rivalry Esports gaining 22 points. Team Mayavi with, of course, 18 points. Reckoning going for 13 points. EXO going out with 10 points. Well, EXO is going out with 10 points just because of Panko, if I'm not wrong. Panko was the one which was sitting in that shack, and that was really very amazing to watch, that how he was able to get those position points into his favor. That was absolutely amazing to watch. But then Team Blind Esports was also coming back in the fight, back and forth, and this is the overall ranking after match number 7. So you can see that Orangutan is still maintaining a safe distance even after getting just 5 points in this match of Erangel. Celsius Esports, look at the bump they have got, 72 points for themselves. Rivalry Esports 62 points. Team NTT, which was as hashtag second, now they are at hashtag 4 right now. All the other teams are trying to chase them down, and look at that number of points they have got. Only 60 points for themselves. Reckoning Esports 47 points. Hyderabad Hydras 45 points. Team Mayavi jumping from hashtag 13 to hashtag 7 with 43 points. Team Insane Esports jumping from hashtag 9 to hashtag 8 with 38 points. That's a good shift coming up.
I mean, I'm falling out of words to say what Team Celsius did right now. They are just so close to Orangutan right now, and if even in case Team Orangutan doesn't perform in upcoming 2 or 3 maps, Team Celsius can just snatch away the throne from them, and that's the best part. You know, when we talk about one single match, we always be like we do have only 6 matches a day to perform. But look at this. One map changed thing entirely. Team Celsius out of nowhere is on second position. NTT was at second, is right now at I guess 4th or 5th. But to the second sides of overall ranking, we do have Marcos Gaming with a total of 37, and same goes to the sides of Team Forever. Team EXO on the 11th position with a total of 34. Old Hood, well, 29 for them. Team 8-Bit 29. Skylightz Gaming 28. Revenge Esports 25. And Enigma Gaming with a total of 24 for them.
Yeah, that is very, very amazing to watch, that how these teams are trying to rack more and more seriousness. If I talk about Marcos Gaming, well, they have got 37 points. Eventually, they were not in the last battle, but of course, in the next upcoming battle of Miramar, they are going to be seen. And of course, the fights are going to be very amazing to watch. But let's talk about the last page where teams from hashtag 17 to hashtag 24 is going to be there. Team Tactical Esports eventually got 1 winner chicken dinner, Darshita, but still, look at the consistency they have got. They got 1 chicken dinner, but then they dropped down with the terms of points. Look at the number of points they have got. Only 22 points for themselves. And if I talk about Team Blind, well, from the past match, they have gained some good pace. They are at at hashtag 18 with 22 points. UDOG India dropping down from hashtag 17 to hashtag 19 with 21 points. Team Nugget always again dropping down, but now I guess they are going to face their 5th match. So of course there could be a good bump from this location also. But few teams like Xpark, R Esports, OR Esports, and Team Revenant, despite of playing 5 matches, they have got 17, 16, 13, and 11 points respectively. Well, that's a bad side to watch.
Well, that can be the case, but I'm just having a calculation in my mind going on. Tactical Esports with 4 matches played, they do have 1 chicken dinner. That's 15 points per chicken dinner if I'm not wrong, and that's just 1 single point upper hand that they got. 6 finishes. Yes, and I mean, there's just a difference of strategies, or maybe a difference in the coordination of the entire team. I don't know. I'm not, completely sure of what's going wrong with Tactical Esports right now. Despite of having 1 chicken dinner, they are standing on the 3rd side of the overall standing. Somewhere down, it's gonna be really sad for the entire team.
Ah, yes, of course, it's going to be very, very sad just because they have got one winner chicken. They got the spark of getting that winner chicken. They got the enthusiasm the day number one. Then eventually their performance is going down and down at this moment. But of course, we are not going to blame them. Now the day number two is going to start. We never knew that Team Celsius is going to bounce back such sharply. Of course, Team Tactical, Team Revenant, and some other teams like Xpark can bounce back. They have more than enough capability to actually bounce back. So let's see eventually how the battle is going to form. And with that, I guess we have the Miramar map coming up, and we are going to see some other fights coming up, and we have the flight path also coming up. So let's witness that also, guys.
I mean, don't even got 2 minutes to relieve from the map of Erangel, and we already are headed towards the map of Miramar. So let's just have a quick look on the fly path. Well, it seems that somewhere the western paths are given a bit more priority compared to the eastern sides, but yes, once again, if we see a circle forming near Los Leones, I am just not saying anything then.
And of course, let me remind you guys that this is the battle between Group A and 2C, and we have Team Revenants, like of Team EXO, Team Rivalry, Esports Celsius, which was the winner chicken dinner of the last match, Esports Entity and Insane. And on the back side, you can see that Group number C is going to be there, Skylightz Gaming, 8-bit Tactical, and Enigma Gaming, Marcos will be there. Team Forever is also playing, UDOG India along with Team Nugget is going to be there. Teams are going to tackle the whole fight, but I can see a major clash coming up in the El Pozo area. We have two teams that could be Skylightz Gaming, and some other team is going to be there. I guess that's Insane Esports, if I'm not wrong. There could be a casualty coming up from that location. And other than that, we have some major clashes also coming up in the area of Los Lunas. So yeah, there could be a clash coming up on that location also. And Hacienda is always contested, and why not in this map also?
I mean, I'm falling out of words right now. You see that, right? Miramar is known as the biggest map, and despite of being a biggest map, you see almost 60% of the map being eliminated in the first zone itself. I'm just imagining the situation that's gonna happen in the next upcoming third and fourth zone. Look at this, Los Leones. I mean, why? We do have so beautiful, compounds on the entire map of Miramar. You have El Pozo, you have Impala. I mean, look around Impala. You see no teams going in that areas.
Yeah, I guess that's because the flight path was very, very western,
true.
So that is why I guess teams are unable to go at this point. There might be some other team which is going to get some good artificial covers, or should I say vehicles, in the map of Miramar. Darshita, you should listen on that. They are going to get some good vehicles and then going to rotate on that location, and there could be a casualty coming up from that location. So let's see what eventually happens. And I guess Team Rivalry is ready to contest with some other team. That could be the area of Los Lunas, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, team number 12 is also there right now. Rivalry versus team number 12. There could be a casualty coming up from that location, but at this point, teams are going to loot and then eventually engage in a fight. That's Team 8-bit. Okay, Raid was pretty much tagged out. I don't know what happened to him, but yes, he's pretty much tagged out. He's pretty much cornered at this point, but he can easily maneuver, easily get some good loots, and then maybe fight back, maybe just retaliate on the point.
He can. He definitely can. But on the other hand, you talk about the all the teammates of 8-bit. That's going to be Tsunami onto the perspective right now with that. Okay, that's a Scarl. I thought he's gonna continue the entire map on that Thompson, but yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be a Scarl there. Rivalry, yes, they okay, that's Jukega 9 there. He just dealt himself with a lot of damage. Not sure of the reason what exactly happened there, but maybe yes, it's gonna be a fight between 8-bit and Rivalry at any moment. But the thing remains the same, that both of the teams are running really low on utilities. You see them having no gunpowder, but what's that happening on the other hand? You see the sides of team Tactical, and there you go once again. Okay, that's gonna be, I guess, Enigma caught there. Tactical trying to spray the vehicle down once again, but no connections for him now.
Indeed, for the moment, they have not got any kind of connection, but this is the first zone. You are going to see some good casualties coming up because it is a very open map. You don't know where to get the fights, you don't know where to get the utilities, so that is why these kind of thing actually happens. Team Tactical, we were talking about this team to actually give a comeback, so let's see, is it possible for them to actually bounce back in this match? Enigma is looking sharp. Enigma has got the utilities, they have got the artificial cover, that's going to be the vehicles. They are trying to rotate in the areas of water treatment, and from that angle, so let's see how the fights are going to be. Let's see how the fights are actually possibly going to be postulated from this point. Other than that, everything is looking peaceful. The lobby is very, very, let's say, amplified, and all the other teams are still remaining in the fight. We have 16 teams, 64 players still remaining in the fight, and they are going to retaliate very, very soon, and the casualties could be there, the fights could be there from that point. Other than that, everything is peaceful, but Darshita, I can already see the first zone is getting shrunk. So what do you think, how many teams are going to be remaining in the second zone?
I mean, as a while ago we saw the overall map, the play zone. There were a lot of teams that were out of the zone, but right now the teams need to rotate. They really know that how important it is to make a rotation when the zone is completely opposite to your side. But at the same time, they are not even getting enough time to put their hands on all the loot that they need, and this is eventually going to cause a lot more of problems. On the other hand, you do see some teams with vehicle. Well, yes, they do have vehicle to play around to go into the zone, but right, Miramar and vehicle, they do not shake hands at all.
Yeah, of course. Just like that, the vehicles are going to get stumbled at some point, and then you are going to be crossfired by some other vehicle. But I guess we have team Rivalry coming up very close. That's team number 5. That could be the blue purple bubble coming up, and we have team team Marcos Gaming. Okay, that's team Marcos Gaming, which is also going to bounce back there at hashtag 8, if I'm not wrong, hashtag 8 or 9. So there could be a good comeback coming up. But team Celsius, after getting that victory, they are going to postulate to another fight, and now they are focusing on to team R Esports, which is pretty much open-ended. And look at that, team Celsius, Big C, the final nail into the coffin of last match, is actually trying to rotate, trying to glide, trying to take a fight into perspective. But let's see, is it going to be possible for them or not? That's going to be the major concern, just because in the initial zones when you are going to fight back, there might not be a third party, but after the first or second zone there could be a third party, because teams are going to rotate, and then whenever they will hear a shot, I guess each and every team is more than capable to give a third party in this lobby.
It can be the case at any moment. On the other hand, look at 8-bit. Right? We saw them a while ago, registering some damages onto themselves, but right now they are at a safer spot. You can see them just looting, taking the vehicles, taking everything they need, packing it up into their backpacks, and just rotating, going into a safer position, and that's definitely needed for them. Right now they are nearby. They are into the nearby compounds of Los Leones, and I guess the zone is lurking somewhere nearby, and that's going to be a positive response for them. But on the other hand, Skylightz Gaming, the very first zone has already arrived, and the players needs to rush.
Yeah, the players have to rush at this point, because Skylightz Gaming has to be in the zone. Eventually the zone is going to bite it out, and I guess they are actually trying to be in the zone. That is going to be lovely. We have new player for the roster. We have Gamla Boy, we have Somraj, and Pokar is also going to be there. That's going to be a good thing for the team Skylightz Gaming. Let's see how they're going to bounce back, because I don't see a good performance in day number 1 from their point. But now I guess the fights are going to be there to, let's see how the punches are going to be. If I talk about team Forever, we have player 5, West Bolt, Mashkas, and Nexus playing for the roster, and they are also pretty close to the margin of the zone. That's good for them. They are taking some good old fashioned vehicle. That's going to be open top Mirado, minivan, and some other good buggies and all. I guess these vehicles are not that good in terms of rotation, but they are very good in terms of artificial covers when you are open-ended, when you are, let's say, gatekeeped at some open-ended areas. So that could be a very good casualty. So that is why these vehicles can actually come in and help you a lot. But Team Revenant, in the last match you saw Team Revenant was the one to get the elimination at the first point. But now Rivalry 5-9-11 is getting tagged out really very harshly. There could be a knockout coming up. Look at the space being dealt right now in the lobby. But there we go. We have MVP with a beautiful mini 14 shot out, and just like that the headshot was connected. And of course Paradox is not going to be alive, just because MVP's mini 14 shots are going to be so damaging that he was picked off and he was finished off just like that. And the first pick of the lobby is going to be by the hands of Team Rivalry Esports, and who they actually picked off Revenant Paradox, and with that Team Revenant is already undermined.
I mean that was just a surprising factor. We were just having our eyes on that single player Paradox there, who was trying to spray down one player from the sides of Team Rivalry, but out of nowhere MVP just gave a big surprise. On the other hand, talking about the sides of Team Entity, well, Dark Lord, you need to be careful about your own grenade, or you can just get your team into a lot more of problems. Some more grenades going from the sides of Team Entity, and trust me when I say Team Entity, each and every match played from now onwards is going to be really very important for them, and eventually losing points on more 2 or 3 maps will cause them a lot more of problems.
Absolutely, that could be the case at this point, just because NTT Gaming was at hashtag 2, if I'm not wrong, in the yesterday's leaderboard. But now after the match number 7, we can see that they were pushed down to hashtag 4, and some other teams are actually climbing up. Team Celsius was there, and another team was there right now. But look at that, NTT Noob is trying to retaliate. If I talk about the team which is gonna be known as Team Marcos Gaming, we have only Rogues been picked off. Radiant is there, Evo Italy is also gonna be there. Yuva OP just trying to bait it out, just trying to wait for the right moment when he could just frag it out, he could just put them down. That would be lovely to watch. That how he's going to effectively put the damage into the perspective. But other than that, if we talk about Team Nugget, well, they are also trying to retaliate. We have some other team coming up. That's going to be Team O. A jump shot was there. Oh, that was some sweet little UMP45 meta coming up. But I guess another guy is going to bounce in. And another knockout was. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Bacha is on fire. His teammates are giving a very good cover. His teammates are actually giving a very good cover to him. And look at that. That was a 1v3 by the hands of Bacha. All thanks to his teammates, just because if they were not at the backdrop areas, they were not giving that cover. I don't think that's going to be possible, just because two guns were at your pace and still you managed to do that 1v2. That's a really very great thing to watch.
What's more shocking for me, Raider, right now is Team OR being the very first team to get eliminated. I mean, I just don't know how do I put it into words. Team Nugget got 4 finishes to their accounts. On the other hand, Team Entity is going ham over their enemies, but at the same time, Dark Lord has been caught by some long distance frags from the sides of Evo Italy there, but eventually he just needs to get into a safer corner right now, or it can be really difficult for the entire team. Right now, we do have 2 players from the sides of Team 15. That's going to be Let's Radiant and Evo Italy there, but I don't know. I don't know what do I say about Bacha OP right now. His name says that he's the king of everyone, but the way he took that 3 frags for himself, I mean, hats off, man, hats off. That was amazing.
Literally, that was really very amazing to watch, that how Team Nugget is bouncing back in the fight. Bacha was the one to get that 3 eliminations into his favor. Other than that, if I'm not wrong, there could be some other team coming up onto the location, and that is Team Forever, if I'm not wrong. That's Mashkas, which is trying to push in, and if I'm not wrong, that's going to be Pro OP, which is going to flying from the left location, so that eventually he has a good grasp, he has a good ridge, and Miramar is all about the higher ridges and lower ridges fight, which was going to be there. Every player is not going to sunshine like Orangutan Ash, which he did yesterday, but eventually, if I talk about the whole gun game situation, Pro has a very good grasp of the lobby. He has M416, 6x scope for a long range mid-range fight coming up. And other than that, if I talk about Team Celsius, well, they are going to face off Enigma pretty soon. Dreams have been picked up. That's a really sad sight to watch, because Dreams, if I'm not wrong, was the one which actually got the most finishes in the last match. So I guess that could be a really good asset for the team. But Dreams have been picked up. Now Max is going to be there, Apollo is going to be there, Vixie is going to be there to try to retaliate from Team Enigma. But is it possible for them? Look at that zone coming up. That is a third zone. Still we have 15% of the zone in the water right now, and look at that. All the other teams have to contest onto that 85% area which is remaining on the landmass, just because they have to be safe. And some other solo guy, or let's say some other team, is going to drop down into the waters. If the zone goes into water, they could easily be surviving till the last few zones.
I really do find the areas of Impala beautiful on the map of Miramar, you know, Raider. I mean, you find enough amount of loot there. You find level 3 helmet, level 3 backpack, everything you need for one entire team in the map of Miramar, and specifically in the areas of Impala. But yeah, we'll have a discussion on that later. Focusing on the fights that's going on to our screens right now, we do have 2 surviving players. That's going to be Evo Italy and Killets. Well, they are just falling off the fight. But there you go, Sananana with that great spray will make sure to take 1 player down. Team Exo registering 1 finish for themselves, and on the other hand, Team Entity going in for some vehicle explosion. But will they be able to do that? Well, that was not a knock by vehicle explosion, but Dark Lord made to take down 1 player amazingly.
It was really very amazing to watch that how these teams are trying to decimate each other. And other than that, if we talk about Team Marcos Gaming, well, they are also trying to retaliate. That's going to be Cells Radiant, which has been picked up from this point. Other than that, Team Entity is also getting pressurized by the hands of Team RE Sports. Well, Hero has been picked off. That's a sad sight to watch. But Canary, Jadu and Rockstar are not going to miss him anytime soon, just because the fights are going on so much that you are going to actually just retaliate. Now, if the retaliation is there in the consideration, look at that. Mac comes up from the backdrop areas, and just like that, Team Revenant is going to remain, I guess, onto the bottom of the list, just because they are going to be pressurized by the hands of Insane. And look at that, Austin Vortex. The survival is literally very impossible for him, but eventually he manages to just fall out from the location. That's great for him. And I guess Siam has been picked up by the hands of Encore. That's a great backup. If that spray was not there, if that knockout was not there, I guess Team Insane would have just chased down Encore and his mate Austin Vortex.
That can be the case. Team Insane registered 1 finish, 1 point on their names right now. But I am not, yet sure of the fact of why Team Insane is not what it is exactly like. I mean, we see them going so aggressive. We see them with a great gun power. We see them taking not just 1, 2, 3 teams down at the same time. But right now, Team Insane is just lacking behind with some small little point. And I'm just trying to find out what point it is exactly. On the other hand, you talk about the hilly areas. Well, you see the sides of team UDOG there, Team Insane right now, 4-on-4 surviving players with one finishers trying to go in for some different angle, different rotations with the hope of getting a great, maybe a height advantage or a great location onto the play zones.
Yeah, the locations are very good. The fights are going to be very amplified from this point. Of course, it is going to be very amazing to watch. But eventually, if I talk about Team Skylightz Gaming, well, they have got a good grasp of the roadside areas. Team Entity is pretty close. All the other teams are going to bounce in very, very sharply, and very, very soon there could be a casualty, there could be a fight, there could be a brutal damage coming up. But if I talk about Team RE Sports, well, they are looking sharp. They are actually with 3-man power, and they are actually playing very pacifistically. And if I talk about Skylightz Gaming, they don't have any kind of frags. But now, if we talk about the frags, we have Apollo coming up with a good blow in the terms of Team Entity, and that could be the case, which is going to end very, very badly for Team Entity Gaming. If I talk about Team EXO, well, they are looking sharp, and look at that. Insane still got only one frag out into their perspective, and now they're going into it with that team, which actually did 1v3 on Team OR. So, Darshita, what do you think the results are going to be from this fight?
I'm just waiting. I'm not gonna predict anything. My predictions are always the wrong one. I'm not gonna be the bad one once again. I'm just gonna wait and watch what exactly is happening. But yeah, talking about the fights right now, we do have the sides of Team Tactical as well, the last surviving players. On the other hand, we do have Team Insane and Team Nugget fighting there. We see one player down to the ground, 3 players up on the third side. We do have Skylightz Gaming having their eyes, but there you go. Neo will find a great one on TN Pro there. Adi needs to get revived back to his life, and I guess that's gonna be really, really possible to them. On the other hand, Team Celsius is just waiting back, waiting. I am not sure for what reason, but they definitely are waiting there. And was that Enigma Eggy going down to the play zone on the 4th zone there? That's gonna be really difficult to watch. But Insane Sayam with that grenades is getting the enemies to a really, really panicking situations right now.
Yeah, of course, indeed, it is going to be a very panicking situation. Look at that Team Insane coming from the higher ridges, and this is something that higher ridges will provide you a very good cover. They are going to provide you with a very good field of view, and eventually, if I talk about Team Celsius, Wixie is going to be the last man standing. Ken the UDC is going to be the front line enemy, and look at that, Darshita, we still have 10 to 15% of the zone in the water, but we have a battle coming up. Look at that, Team Nugget actually getting decimated, and now Team Nugget is going to be in the water. If I'm not wrong, he's just going to play really very safe, and other than that, Ken the UDC has been undermined, and look at that, he can be picked up from this location. He's also going to heal himself, and Vixie is also going to look after himself, and then both of them are going to heal up and once again engage in the battle. And I guess there could be a casualty coming up. Skylightz Gaming meanwhile raining havoc onto Team RE Sports. Jadu goes down, but I guess Panku was there with the brutal blow of Mini 14, and Somraj also being picked off. Team Skylightz Gaming with only one frag in their favor is actually getting decimated just because Somraj has been picked off. That is really very sad. And other than that, new player Gamla Boy and Pugar are still remaining in the fight, still trying to fight it out. The IGL Somraj has been picked off. I guess that could be a really very great threat for the team, but eventually they have to push in, eventually they have to play. Now there is no recall coming up, now there is no revival coming up, so they have to play with the 3-man power. Team Entity meanwhile decimating Team Marcos Gaming.
We so have multiple fights happening all around. On the other hand, you see Void reviving his teammates, but Team Celsius being eliminated there. Oh my gosh, that was not something I really expected. On the other hand, there. Oh, okay, Entity Gaming, you just catch a player so bad that you don't even give him time to move a muscle, and there you go, even one player down to the ground. But Skylightz Gaming, welcome. Okay, that's gonna be Entity players just falling down. On the other hand, we do have the sides of Team EXO with 4 finishes looking really, really strong right now, and there you go, Vulture has been caught. Well, make it 3 for now as Fierce has to go down. Sensei will be trying to go for a backup, but you already see 2 players in front of him, and if there's any kind of aggression over Sensei, it's going to be really very difficult for the entire team. On the other hand, Entity Troy is being eliminated completely by 8-bit Batman. Dark Player has to go down to the play zone. Well, there's this thing of players going down to the play zone that really hurts me a lot. I mean, you are just giving so of your best, but there you go, the entire team of Entity has been eliminated on the 11th position.
Well said anyway, but other than that, we are going to see some more casualties coming up from this location because the 5th zone is going to slam in about 11 seconds, and I guess there could be a more massive casualties coming up. Team Skylightz Gaming is pretty much far away from the zone. They are close to 300 meters away from the zone, and Team Tactical is looking forward to just decimate them, and I guess that is why Skylightz Gaming Pokar is trying to apply more and more smoke so that he can just blind out Team Tactical's kid and then eventually take that frag into the perspective. That would be lovely, but I guess Exophias comes with the brutal blow on Pokar, and just like that, Pokar has been picked off. Team Insane is still surviving in the fight, and I guess Darshita, this is what you were looking after just because Team Insane was unable to perform in the last few matches. I guess in this match Team Insane is going with the manpower, going with the frags, going with the good zone advantage because they are in the zone. Look at the lower ridges they are holding, and from that location I guess good frags can be there.
It can be, it cannot be. You just can't predict anything right now, and specifically when the zone is just half into the waters. I mean, just take it completely into the water. Let's just have some quick fun in this map of Miramar as well. But jokes apart, there you go. You have the sides of Team EXO with 8 finishes. Well, that's looking really good for the sides of Team EXO. They're really running low on HP, but I guess they would definitely get some time to patch themselves up completely. On the other hand, the zone is scrambling inside, and that is just causing more and more problems for the entire team. Rivalry Esports, on the other hand, has been eliminated. Insane Adi, onto the perspective of him right now, it's just scouting of information all over. So goes for the sides of UDOG Rambo there. My stick with that vehicle. Well, okay, he is just so away from his teammate, and a vehicle explosion is something that might cause his death. But okay, there's a player of Enigma down there. Shaggy, he is just waiting there and there with that vehicle on the shores and not just giving any kind of movement. But there you go, Team Insane once again into a fight. I guess you heard me, Team Insane. I am just seeing you going really aggressive right now.
Of course, they are going to go aggressive at this point just because this is the last few zones which are going to remain in the lobby, and they are going to put all of their efforts so that eventually they can gain more and more points. But I guess we can see that Team Insane Neo is actually trying to retaliate, but other than that, Sananana, or should I say Snacks, is also trying to fight it out. Tactical Kid also is trying to retaliate, but then we have Team Fireball also getting decimated by the hands of Team 8-Bit. Look at that, they are far away from the zone but still trying to retaliate. Now they have to be in the zone, and they are going to be a quick target for all the other teams which are going to just be waiting for their rotation. Because they are going to be very open. They are going to rotate either on land, let's say either on foot or either on vehicle, and when they are going to with the vehicles, they are going to be good some sprays, and then they might be picked up from that location. Look at that, Team EXO Sensei also getting tagged out. Always both they meanwhile getting some good tags from Team Revenant Austin Vortex remaining the last one standing of his team. Oh, we also have one more guy coming up from Team Revenant. That's great. 9 teams, 25 players remaining in the 6th zone, which is going to slam onto it in about 10 to 15 seconds. 8-Bit meanwhile getting contested by some other team, but we have Adi getting picked up by the hands of Team Mashcash. Team Forever Mashcash WNL. That's going to be very, very amazing to watch that how Team Insane was able to hold the grasp, but now Team Insane is getting decimated. They were able to hold a very good location in the zone, but at this point, Darshita, they are just choking onto their own point.
On the other hand, you talk about Tactical Kid there. He's just trying to take Fears down, but Fears knows how to survive out of that situation, and he'll be doing his all best. Tactical Kid, on the other hand, takes one player off completely, but will be traded off there and there. 8-Bit Riot will be taking Nexus down to the dust once again. Max Kush with that some smokes are needed to block the visions of the enemies completely, but is that Team Tactical getting eliminated as well? Okay, look at that. Team Nugget itself, Team Nugget was just surviving into water, and as I was about to say he has a great survival, he is just done and dusted there and there. On the other hand, we do have the sides of Team Forever, where we have the last surviving player. That's going to be player 5. But Exo Punk, what is he exactly up to? Is he trying to go really aggressive on the sides of Team 8? But if is it so, it can be really difficult. As you can see, 2 or more players there with 10 finishes. We do have the sides of Team Exo on top 6, but will they be able to make it to the top 3 or no is going to be the biggest question I have.
Indeed, that's going to be a very good question to actually get an answer for. But if I talk about Team 8-Bit, well, they are going to scout more and more players at this point. They're trying to find out Team Exopunko, if I'm not wrong. That is the main goal of this team, so that they can eventually clear out the right path from which they are going to push in the zone. Right is on the backdrop of this vehicle. Look at that. Enigma Sag is still remaining in the zone, and this is something I was pretty worried about, because eventually when this kind of zone comes up in the map of Miramar, there are going to be some few teams which are going to lay low. But then we have Team Insane trying to retaliate. Mac might be picked off at this point. Adi also goes down with the brutal board, but now Team Insane has secured some good old 8 fashion figures. That's going to be very amazing. They have got 8 frags into their perspective. That's going to be lovely. Mac is also getting contested a lot, but I guess Punku can't be retaliated. Punku is trying to put more and more guys down. Madman has been picked off. Revival is a little bit impossible at this point, just because they are going to be the major concern. They are going to be the team which is going to be very lit at this point, but Punku is still trying to retaliate, and 8-Bit Juicy is trying to just find him out, just find the gap where he can just put him down. But there we go. I guess he actually eliminated Raid. That was Madman who has been picked up by the hands of them, but then Juicy also getting tagged out from the left angle, and I guess there could be elimination coming up. Look at UDOG India, Darshita. They have got only 1 frags, but still they are remaining in the lobby. Still they are going to hold a massive chunk of the lobby on the eastern corner.
remaining with 4 players.
Yeah.
That's the main point. Remaining with 4 players and playing inside some great inner wall covers can be a great strategy for them. But once again, when you are really running low on the finish points and you manage to somewhere take a placement point for yourself, it's just like the balance not being balanced so well. So yeah, that's something you really needs to have your eye on. But on the other hand, you talk about insane. What how are the 4-on-4 players surviving? I mean, you saw for the first time 2 players. Once again, they revived them back. On the other hand, Team 8-bit, well, it's going to be Riot, the last surviving player. Through that smoke, he is just trying to travel as far as he can. But Team Insane has their all eyes set on him. But look at Shaggy. He is just underwater chilling right now, but what? Neo will make sure to take him down there, and their UDOG on the other hand with some great grenades with one finish for themselves. I really hope the number to increase somewhere like 3 or 4, but Rise is being caught from behind. Well, it was insane. Siam, is it insane match? Is it going to be Team Insane taking that winner chicken dinner? And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a 4v4 fight that's going to happen in the last zone of the second map of Miramar. Neo is trying to move further, but right now UDOG is just with one finish, whereas we can see Team Insane with 13 finishes. Trust me, the level of confidence Team Insane has right now can devastate every inch that Team UDOG is carrying right now. A 4v4 situation, Team Insane looking really good, but on the other hand, Team UDOG has a greater advantage of the inner wall covers to play around with, and I am just waiting to see what happens next.
Well, Darshana, look at it. Even though Team Insane was trying to push him from the open-ended, then a nade comes up, then a blow is going to be there at a now UDOG India is pretty much prepared to actually take that carnage into perspective. And look at that, Adi is also going to go down from that angle. Look at the jumping coming up. UDOG Kisho with a brutal blow. That was interesting to watch that how they are trying to retaliate. Another fight comes up, and I guess Team Insane, after getting depleted in terms of their western utilities, now they are going to go down, no doubt in that. And Mystic is also trying to retaliate, and with it, I guess that's going to be the last battle. UDOG India finally secures 5 amazing finishes and a winner chicken dinner into the favor of UDOG India. That was brutal. Meanwhile, Team Insane was unable to get some good frags into the perspective. They were able to get some 11 or 12 finishes if I'm not wrong, but then eventually they were picked out just because they were very depleted in terms of their utilities. Their west helmet was pretty much tagged out, and I guess that is something they had to work on. They had to something they were unable to do the charm.
Team UDOG. What an amazing match. I mean, we say that, right? Surviving is so important, and you saw the way Team UDOG survived. 4-on-4 surviving players on the last zone, and that's just so beautiful. It's really very difficult for you to have all your 4 players surviving from the start to the end. But yes, UDOG managed to survive all on their 4 players. They were really running low on the number of finishes they have. I truly agree with that, but they got 15 for the delicious chicken dinner, and 5 for the finishes that they got. That's a total of 20 for them, and that's needed. That's definitely the most needed thing. But on the other hand, I really feel bad for the sides of Team Insane after getting 13 finishes and not getting that chicken dinner. I mean, that's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is going to be very heartbreaking for the Team Insane right now, because they were this close to getting a winner chicken dinner, but then eventually the positioning, then eventually the utilities they had, the West helmet which was very damaged, that was not enough for them, and that is why I guess Team UDOG India was the one to actually get that carnage into their perspective. They had a good inner circle, inner wall of the cover, and then they had the hard compounds, they had the high ridges, they were sitting on the top of the roofs, and then eventually they were able to scout everything whichever Team Insane was trying to do, and that is why they were able to get that winner chicken into their perspective. But now let's look into the highlights which was there right now, and the initial pick, and look at this 1v3 coming up. This was the first fight, this was the first carnage into the perspective. Then I guess Bacha was actually in the wall, and then he actually comes up with a brutal blow. Look at that, a jump shot was there, that was sneaky, and he just like that actually manages to put them down. And then I guess Coop RG was slammed it, and just like that both of them were picked off by the drop shot. That was absolutely brutal, the number of damages that Bacha did onto Team OR, and this was the final nail into the coffin for Team OR.
He was just surviving he was just barely surviving. Look at this. He was just barely surviving, but still managed to take 3 players down, and that was really amazing. On the other hand, when you talk more about these highlights, you see each and everything that happened in the entire map of Miramar. Team Nugget was really looking good, but at some point or the other they had to go down. Team Enigma at the same time, I would say this Team Enigma was even there was something like play zone just taking players down, and that's where problems became. But Team Insane was looking good the entire map, but last the least, it was just the last moment where everything went wrong for them.
Indeed, the last moment was very choky for the team just because they were unable to get a good grasp of the lobby, and then actually they were unstable. But if I talk about some other casualties coming up in the lobby, we had Team Forever also decimating Team 8-Bit. Look at the number of sprays they were trying to do, but then eventually Team 8-Bit Juicy was also trying to retaliate onto EXO. Sensei was picked up from that, and Fierce was there right now, but eventually Team EXO was also decimated from the point. UDOG India, look at that, they only got one frag unless they actually wiped out Team Insane. But before that, Team UDOG India was able to defend their ground. That was something very beautiful to watch. Just because they didn't had any kind of finishes, that doesn't mean that this team was not performing in the lobby. They were able to perform. They were able to actually defend this huge compound which was in the zone, and that's not an easy task, I guess. Darshita.
I will just phrase it like Team Insane played with gunpowder, whereas Team UDOG just played a great mind game here. You see that, right? You just see them. Team Insane was just going in for so many frags. They got 13 frags. But what did Team UDOG do? They waited patiently. And they waited, and you can see the results, the star of the match, all onto your screen. Insane Neo going all out for 5 finishes. Insane Neo once again for best companion. That's 5 revival. Okay, Neo did a dual job, I would say here, and UDOG Rambo there with final elimination. That's 1 finish for him. Okay, to continue the point that I was talking about, Team UDOG waited patiently. They just knew that yes, now that we have the zone, Team Insane needs to push on us, and right, pushing a defensive compound, pushing a compound that has inner wall covers is so difficult, and that's where the tables turn all around.
Of course, that was a let's say decision for UDOG India, which actually made them possible to get that victory into the perspective. While Neo was the one to actually get most of the finishes from the lobby. That's going to be 5 finishes, a total of 3 bonuses into his courtyard, and a damage of 968. Well, he could have caused more and more casualties in the lobby eventually. But then Insane Neo was the one actually getting the best companion award. Also, that was great. 3 assists for him, and 5 revivals. Health restored points going to be 537. But then eventually this was the UDOG Rambo, if I'm not wrong, the final nail into the coffin, and with this the battle was over. It was very interesting to watch that how the fights were actually putting that carnage into perspective, how the teams were trying to retaliate. Each and every team from the start was able to get the carnage into perspective. Initially, Team Revenant was also tagged out, and you already saw that Team Revenant's Paradox, if I'm not wrong, was the one which actually got out in the initial fight by the Mini 14 of, I don't know about the team name. That was the Rivalry MVP. Yeah, that was the guy which actually got that knockout. That was literally very, very brilliant. While he was just laying on his belly and he was trying to eliminate Team Rivalry's 5, 6, 11. Then somebody from Team Rivalry that's known as MVP came out from the right direction, and just like that he went on ham with the Mini 14. Well, that is something you have to be pretty worried about. Getting a team onto one corner can be a very great casualty for you, and that is why Team Rivalry actually maintains their flank position. And in the last battle, you also saw UDOG India also maintained their flank position. Team Insane, even though they were pushing, they also maintained a flank position. One guy was on the backdrop areas, one guy was pushing from the right angle, 2 guys were pushing on the front angle. Well, these kind of flanks will actually provide you with a great cover, which can affect a lot of momentum in the fights.
I will say that having information, complete information when you push to a compound is really important. You saw that in the very initial knockout, that Raider you were talking about right now, right? We saw he was trying to take one player down there. I was 589 or 511 if I'm not wrong. But what happened? Another angle he was not sure about took him down, and that's where all the problem began, right? You are not sure of what angles players are holding, what flanks they are holding on, and then you just get down there, and that's why I always say having a complete information before pushing or before spraying down any player is really, really very important. This map of Miramar, I guess, was a complete surprise to me from the start itself. Like we talk about Flypath, well yes, Flypath was somewhere favoring more towards the western side, the western side if I'm not wrong. But what happened next? The zone. I mean, I really don't want the next Miramar to be a Los Leones when I seriously am. Like, we do have beautiful cities in the of Miramar, so please take a new one for the zone, and let's get into a new fight and have some interesting one.
Well, let's see what BGMI gods are going to do in the next upcoming maps of Miramar, just because the upcoming match is going to be in the map of Erangel, if I'm not wrong. Well, that's going to be very amazing to watch that how the teams are going to retaliate in that map also. And while talking about the map, I will like to tell you that Group B and C are going to fight it out on that map. So we are going to see Team X-Pac again, Hyderabad Hydras, Reckoning, Esports is going to be there, Old Dude is going to be there, Orangutan is going to be there, then we also have Team Blind, Revenge Esports is going to be there, Team Mayavi is going to be there. Well, this is group number B, out of which Team Mayavi and Revenge is going to be the qualified teams for the quarter finale. Well, if I talk about Group C, you are going to again see Skylightz Gaming, 8-bit Tactical Esports, then we have Enigma Gaming, Marcos Gaming, Team Forever. Well, these are the invited teams. Two more qualified teams are going to be there from this group. That's going to be UDOG India, which actually got the winner chicken in. Of course, that name will be, let's say, marked in your mind. Other than that, Team Nugget, after the Nugget, Team Nuggets, Badshaw OP did that 1v3, I guess that is also something very impressive you should remember. So eventually, we are going to see some good blows, some good fights into this map. Let's see what eventually happens. Let's see once the fight is going to initiate. The map of Erangel is going to be there. The flight path will come. That will decide how the fights are going to drop down, because in the last match we saw that the flight path was very, let's say, westernish. But then when the play zone came in, it actually went on opposite side, in the eastern side. And that was something which we never expected, I guess.
We didn't. Even eventually, if you ask me one more point, I would say that I have seen players, the rotation are so pinpoint precise right now. You see, migrating from one position to the another is getting so difficult. You are either going into a rotational clash or just dashing your vehicle into the enemies, and that's where the problem is getting created. I mean, yes, it depends. It depends completely on what the fly path is. It depends completely on what play zone is. But eventually, migrating from one place to another is getting really, really difficult. We see this. We saw yesterday players were trying to go in for a centralized position and not just go in for corners. Like, we know, right, how do we gatekeep? We do have a chance of gatekeeping when we hold the edges of the map. Anyone trying to go in for a late rotation, we do have a chance to gatekeep them. But we didn't see gatekeeping so much here. We eventually didn't see anyone holding the corners so much, but everyone was trying to form a cluster in between of the map, and that's where all the fights, all the third parties, all the fourth and all the fifth parties are going on.
Well, I guess that's because you have to get a good grasp of the zone eventually when the next zone is going to shift in. If you are in the center of the zone, even though the zone is not onto you, that the next upcoming zone is going to be near to you, and I guess there is a possible rotation coming up from their angle. So I guess that is why all the other teams were trying to not gatekeep but go in the center, and that was a good cause for them. But eventually, let's see how those mistakes, how those casualties are going to, let's say, get into the practice. Okay, let's say get into the carnage of today's matches, because already 2 matches have been passed. We have crossed over 8 matches, and now this is going to be the 9th matches, which is going to be here right now. Pretty soon, every team have played if I'm not wrong, 5 matches, and it's going to be very amazing to see that how the leaderboard is going to shift. I guess if in this match we are not going to see any kind of leaderboard, there could be some kind of technical glitches. So let's see what eventually happens. Let's see, we are straight away either going to dive into the map or the leaderboard is going to be here. Let's wait for it. Let's see what eventually happens. But meanwhile, I have told you about the teams, and one thing I would like to remind you that after the 3rd match or 4th match, we are going to completely shift on Loco. So be ready about that situation also coming up very, very soon. And you should be ready with the Loco app. You should be ready with the follow button onto Sky Esports Hindi, English, or whatever your regional language you are going to watch on. So of course, you guys make sure to go ahead and follow us and download the Loco app so that eventually you can enjoy the whole stream. Just because after 3rd or 4th match at any time, we are going to shift completely on Loco.
We surely will. That's how, so far we are done with the very first map of Erangel, the second map of Miramar, and right now we are all set, to enter the map of Erangel at any moment. But yeah, I really want to see the standings, but never mind. Okay, we'll just come to the point of Erangel back again. I have been waiting for this map, a classic map, and right, everything in this map matters a lot. You see everything, you go through each and everything in the map of Erangel. So before heading directly towards the map, I will really have this question. What do you expect from this map of Erangel, Raider?
For sure, I'm going to expect a very good shift in the zone, and then the teams are going to get the cluster. Some good initial fights are going to be there. Like for us, Karthar, and for our audience, it's going to be very amazing. But for those teams, for those athletes which are going to fight it out, it's going to be a very great headache. The shifts which are going to be there, and I'm damn sure that there is going to be a shift.
I mean, since the day started, I am just having my eyes towards those bridges, the
Yeah.
the military base bridge. I just want to I just want to see a defense allotted on that bridge, or the vehicle posted on that bridge in center of the bridge. These are some things I really want to see. Give me some. Give me some sniper actions while I'm waiting
Hmm.
for it since the previous day. There are a lot more of things, but eventually yes, it completely depends on what players want, what players need, how do these players perform.
Yeah, despite of what we want, the players are going to fight and let's say play along with their own style, because you never know what these players are trying to decipher, because each and every battle is for them. We are just here to cast, we are just here to enjoy and all, but the main battle which is being fight out is into their handle. So of course it's going to be very amazing to watch that how these teams are going to effectively fight it out, how these teams are going to retaliate, how the leaderboard is going to shift. Of course, from the first two matches we have seen a huge shift in the zone, huge shift in the, let's say, leaderboard also, because Team Celsius, I don't know where they were in the first two leaderboards, but then eventually after the seventh match, after getting that victory into perspective, they were bouncing back very sharply. Team UDOG India were at hashtag 3 page number, if I'm not wrong, hashtag 18 or 19th position, but with this winner chicken, I guess they are surely but sharply going to be in the page number 2, or should I say from hashtag 9 to hashtag 11 or 12, that would be the position for them. So let's see how the leaderboard is going to turn out. If we are going to get the leaderboard, that would be great for us. But eventually, if the leaderboard is not there, we are surely but shortly going to dive into the next map, which are going to be here. That's going to be Group B and C, fighting it out in the map of Erangel. Again, it's going to be very amazing, as we said. Utilities are a must for the teams. Clashes are going to be a must for the teams right now. So let's see how the battle is going to proceed and how the fights are going to be progressed at this point.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Eventually, today we are seeing some new faces, some new
Yeah,
teams pop up. Like yesterday we saw, the previous day we saw a team like Orangutan just dominating it. Complete one-side domination, I would say, is what we got to see yesterday. But what happened today is just changing everything. I mean, we talked about a downfall of the team, and somewhere to the corner of my heart, I do feel like Orangutan is not up to the mark of what they were the previous day. We saw them going ham over their enemies, and they were making sure to eliminate them, to just wipe them completely. But today, when they are trying to aggress, when they are trying to go all gun blazings toward their enemies, they are just falling down like dominoes. And I really wish to see a comeback from the team, because if they don't manage to take eventually a standard amount or a decent amount of finishes and placement on onto the entire day of today, there can be the situation where they may face a great downfall.
of course, they could may face a great downfall just because they are going to climb down into the leaderboard, and teams like Celsius, teams like EXO, which are chasing their blues, chasing their dreams, and teams like Insane, which are constantly trying to grind more and more. We already saw that in the last leaderboard, Team Insane were at hashtag 9, then they came to hashtag 8, and now, of course, after this good victory, after okay, let's say the victory was not there into their consideration, but of course, in terms of the points, they are going to lead from UDOG India, even after not getting the winner chicken dinner. Then also with 13 frags and 12 points for the, let's say, position, they are going to get 25 points. And if I count the points of Team UDOG India, they're going to get only 20 points just because they have 5 frags and a total of 15 points for their, let's say, position, their victory, their winner chicken dinner. So of course, it's going to be very amazing to watch that how the leaderboards is going to shift. But eventually, let me remind you guys, this is AMD presents Sky Esports GrandSlam, out of which we are going to see our gaming partner is going to be Logitech and the broadcasting partner is going to be Loco. But before that, let me tell you that only top 10 teams are going to qualify. That's it. Top 10 teams from out of these 24 teams, in which 6 teams are qualified from the quarter finale and 18 teams are invited. Only top 10 teams are going to qualify in the grand finale, where they are going to face off with some great teams such as Team Soul, such as Team Velocity, formerly known as IND, Team Gaming, Team 7C Esports. Then we also have their, if I'm not wrong, that's going to be Team TSM, which is going to come up. So of course, the battle is going to be very strong in the grand finale. But before that level to reach, these teams have to grind in this lobby, and they have to actually put their worth into the perspective.
The 6 teams are just waiting to welcome these 10 teams.
Yeah.
They are just waiting patiently, and they are like, come on, please come on, perform and just come. We are really excited to welcome you to the world of grand finales. But before that, they have to go to all more 4 days, including today's date. It's going to be more 4 days. That's going to be 5 days of semi-finales and 6 days each. That's 6 maps played. I mean, 30 maps in total that we see, but 20
Yeah.
maps that each teams get to play. And eventually, I guess, moreover, the teams are done with 4 and 5 matches, yet they just are left with like 14 and 15 matches more. The clock is just
Ticking.
ticking nearby.
it's like a ticking time bomb at this point for these teams,
Exactly.
and it could actually burst at the day number 5 when we are going to see some the faces of top 10 teams which are going to be qualified into the grand finale, where they're going to face off the four-mentioned 6 teams. But eventually, let me tell you guys, only top 6 teams were qualified from quarter finale also. That was Team Revenge Esports and Team Mayavi, and then UDOG India, Insane Esports, Nugget, NTT Gaming were the teams which were qualified from the quarter finale. Semi-final was consisted of these 6 teams, including 18 more invited teams which are there. So I guess we have told you about the whole teams. I guess Rashida has already explained to you about the whole number of matches which are going to be played, and each team is going to get 20 matches to put their worth, 20 matches to show their skills, 20 matches to gain their points, and then eventually be in the grand finale in front of those 6 teams. So let's see how much time it's gonna take to grind it out, how much time it's gonna take to get those points into the consideration. Of course, the leaderboard is something we all are waiting about, and we are also waiting
please,
about.
please don't give me hopes. Please don't give me hopes. Okay, anyways, I know you people are really excited to start the next map of Erangel, and the comment section will all be like, please start the map of Erangel. We are really waiting, but trust me when I say that patience is needed for good things. If you have that level of patience, you're just gonna witness an amazing battle that gets started at any moment.
Yeah, the battle could be started any moment. The tactical fights are going to be very amazing to watch. That how the gun game is going to be there, what kind of new strategies teams are going to build. But of course, because now from the past few 8 matches, teams are gaining some more experiences. Teams are gaining the pace of this lobby, because every lobby is different. Every team is different in every tournament, because they want to explore some new good gaming style. If you don't evolve, if you don't adapt, you are going to be the same eventually throughout the life. So of course, you have to be adaptive, and you have to be very, let's say, learning from the past at this moment. So eventually all the teams are going to gain some good practices, and they're going to learn some good clashes which are going to be there in the map of Erangel very soon. I'm actually very excited to wait, and very excited to see that how the games are going to start, and how the fight is going to be there, how the flight path is going to be there. Of course, I'm waiting for a good shift coming up in the flight path, and a good play zone shift also coming up in the whole map. Then we are going to see some good carnages. Teams are going to chase the vehicles, teams are going to go for the utilities, they are going to go on the unexpected drop locations where they never want to drop. And there we go, we have the flight path coming up on the eastern areas. Let's focus on to it.
Oh, there you go. The flight path is all set onto your screen, starting from the areas of Novoroknoi to the upper areas of Yasnaya and Severny. Well, I haven't seen Severny being a battlefield yet, so somewhere behind my heart, the corner of my heart, I want it to be a great fight there. But once again, it depends completely on where players decide to go, and their primary drop locations as well.
Yeah, the primary drop locations are going to be very amazing to watch. That teams like, let's say, teams which are going to claim the location of Prismok are going to be very effective for this zone location. Other than that, Georgiapol is very far away. We have Jarki very far away, but I don't remember any team going towards the area of Jarki. So of course that is going to be uncontested. 70 could be a drop location where teams are going to jump in, but we don't have the first play zone coming up. I'm just eagerly waiting for the first ever play zone to come up, and eagerly waiting for a shift to come up at this point. Let's see how the shift is going to be there. The zone is already pretty cornered. The flight path, to be exact, is already pretty cornered in the eastern corner. Let's see how the zone is going to get the justice into the perspective or not, just because we can see that we have a cluster coming up in the area of hospital. So sorry, that's Rozak and Water City where the cluster could be there. Oh, look at that, we have zone coming up. I guess that's a pretty central shift, but still in the western corner. And the teams which are going to jump in the area of Novoripinoi, Lipovka, Yasnaya and constituent areas, well, they have to actually climb a lot. And the teams which are going to go towards the area of Georgiapol, they are for sure going to get a contestment by the vehicles.
I mean, right now I do have this feeling of the zone forming somewhere near to the areas of Hospital, Georgiapol or Ruins, maybe, as we saw Pochinki the last time. So please don't get a Pochinki once again. But coming back to another points, there's going to be a great fight at any moment. There you see the sides of team Enigma there, the areas of Lipoka somewhere near to but I guess that's going to be a rotational clash eventually happening at any moment, because you see half of the teams, that's going to be like 60% of the teams already inside the zone, but a complete straightaway, and on the other hand 40% of the players out of the zone.
Yeah, these the players which are out of zone at this moment are going to contest for the zone location, but the teams which are in the zone, the 60% of these good guys which are in the zone are going to contest for a good drop location where they could actually just loot and get some good utilities. You can see that Team X-Park is pretty much ready right now. We have Gumlumon and all the other members of Team X-Park rotating in the areas of Water City and constituent areas. Other than that, Team Rivalry and all the other teams which are trying to be here are actually trying to rotate, get some good grabs. Some people are actually dropping on some scattered compound where they could get good drops. Oh, look at that, look at that. This guy is trying to escape, but he's not going to be escaping, and just like that he has been picked up. Now he's going to get fisted just because he was just actually going to get that vehicle. I guess he could just have been the vehicle and just fall back, but yeah, of course you can see that he has been put down. Now team number 6 is very straightforward, and they're just gaining more and more finishes, and eventually team number 18, that's going to be Team Nugget. Okay, that was Anush 2OP who has been fisted, who has been picked off. And now if I talk about Nugget, well, they don't have got any kind of good gun. They have S1987. Well, that's a good gun. If we talk about the close combat, if the shots gets a connection, and if the connection is not there, you are going to get connected to the lobby.
I personally love these shotguns. They are just so devastating in a close range fight. You just hit, you know, once and the enemy is down to the ground, and that's the reason I. Oh yeah, that's like a pro and con that you know, every gun has, but definitely if the connection is there, you know how sad it feels when you have an AR and you get down just because of a shotgun. But never mind, this discussion will go on and on. On the other hand, we do have Nugget. Well, there's a PP Bison as well into his hand. Shotgun Bison is just hoping to find something great to play around with. On the other,
it would be lovely to watch that how the casualties are going to be built. Other than that, we also have the other guys that's going to be Ace Black Striker for the win, and let's see how the battle is going to form for this team and how the casualties are going to build from this location right now. Let's see what eventually happens. They have got in the vicinity of Georgipur northwest area, and now they are going to retaliate from this point.
Everything is at a peace. I mean, each and everything is just so calm, so composed, but it's just the calmness before the storm. I mean, you know that, right? The calmness before the storm that arrives at any moment causes so much of difficulties for the team. But right now, yes, everything is so quiet. It's just the vehicles all around, or maybe the vehicles, well, they do need 2 or 3 vehicles. What if one vehicle is just... off? What would you do if one vehicle is just busted? Okay, is there a happening? Is there a fight happening between the sides of Team Tactical and Skylightz Gaming? Well, new player has been registering a lot of damage on himself lately, but he got some time to patch himself up before this fight gets more intense.
Well, there could be a fight coming up from this location, but I guess Team Tactical is one of those teams which has to actually rack up some seriousness at this point, because they have got one Miramar chicken. They have shown their capability in the lobby, but after those matches, they are just going down and down at this point. And I guess Team Tactical is pretty much, let's say, circled onto one location, circled onto one compound, and Team Skylightz Gaming is going to chase them out. They are the predators at this point. They're just looking forward to just get some more praise. They are just looking forward to get some more flags. And Team Tactical, meanwhile, is going to shift just because the zone is on the western end. They are going to shift from the backdrop areas of Georgipur and then get a good grasp from the zone and maybe get some possible fights. But Team Mayavi, if I'm not wrong, is going to be there very close to get a contestment, and these casualties can be very let's say tiring for the team, because Team Skylightz Gaming is one of those teams which can be very, let's say, strategic in terms of their fight, but Team Mayavi is one of those teams which eventually sees a player and just go when Sam on him.
Well, they are pretty aggressive, but you know, right, they need to just stack up more points for themselves to you know, be on the very first or maybe the upper sides of overall standings. On the other hand, when you talk about Team Tactical, there right now they are at a peace. I mean, yes, they know the position of Skylightz Gaming, and they're just preparing themselves for the fight. The vehicles are kept safe and secure so that they get a chance to rotate as well if needed. But let's see this. Skylightz Gaming, I guess, have decided to not get into a really intense fight right now. Just wait and just get one opening at least so that they can, you know, go ham over their enemies.
Yeah, of course, it's going to be very interesting to watch that how this team is going to attack it. But look at that, they have got the Dacia, now they're going to face off Nugget, and they're going to find out that location and eventually maybe tag out Team Nugget, and that could be a very interesting fight to watch, because this is the initial fight. A nade is going on by the hands of Gomlumon, that Scout and Mavi. Both of them are trying to place a nade, but Nugget actually manages to survive from that nade. That's great for him, but Nugget is eventually going to get out. Oh, Nugget actually manages to put one more guy down. Mavi is trying to retaliate. Mavi goes out with the AKM. He's trying to retaliate, and just like that, Gomlumon, or let's say say Scout actually manages to get 1 point for him. That was interesting to watch, but now Mavi is going for the revival, Scout is going for the cover. That's great. Team Nugget also trying to retaliate. Is it possible for them to get that 1v1, get that 1v4 into the perspective? That's going to be the interesting thing. And if I'm not wrong, Team Nugget is already going on the backdrop areas. They're not going to contest it out just because they know that's a very open fight. Maybe a third party could be there and maybe they are not going to be able to survive.
Right now, just being at the back foot is going to be a great decision for the team. You see that, right? It's a complete open area, and it's like a bridge side that you are fighting on, a river side that you are fighting on, and you eventually get into a lot more of difficulties when you fight it out on these sides of maps. So yeah, eventually, yes, if you play it out a bit safe right now, it can be really great for the end zone fight. But on the other hand, you talk about the sides of Team Blind somewhere near to the areas of Sivani, but now it completely depends on the next zone shift incoming at any moment, and I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. Well, there you go. It's going to be the areas of Georgapur Hills, Katka, somewhere at the halfway areas of Rozok and Pochinki.
Touchy to watch that how the teams are going to retaliate, and look at that again. I guess I'm remembering the last map of yesterday's fight, which in which the whole rotation was in the center lobby, which we were talking about earlier. So I guess there could be a rotation again coming up in the center areas, and Team X-Pac after gaining 1 point, that's really very sharp for them. Other than that, if we talk about team number 5, well, they are also focusing onto the rotation. Team Revenge meanwhile also trying to rotate more and more so that eventually a good grasp will be there for the lobby. Team Revenge, Akshay 5k is there, we have Shark, we have Final Boss, and then that's going to be Sonic Fox also trying to retaliate. Team Revenge, if I'm not wrong, is also one of those teams which are on the backdrop areas of leaderboard. So I guess Darshita, we can expect a comeback coming from this team.
I mean, they need a comeback.
Yeah.
They definitely need this map to be written into their favors, or it can get more difficult. It is already difficult, and it can get more difficult if you do not boost your confidence and momentum at this point of time. Right now, they are just onto their ways to a safer location, to a location where they find themselves really safe and secure with as many vehicles as they can, pick up the entire way. On the other talk about the sides of Evo Edley, Oli Rocks, Let's Radiant and UOP, the 4-on-4 surviving players. They may have a fight with the sides of Team Enigma, but may not, as it can be a mid-range fight, and pushing off aggressively can be difficult just because it's a complete open area and Team Enigma has an inner wall cover to work around with.
Indeed, Team Enigma has got a very good grasp of the lobby at this moment, but other than that, this is going to be Team Marcos Gaming getting punched right now. Look at that. Team Hyderabad Hydras comes up with a brutal blow. I guess that's going to be Team UDOG India with a brutal blow, and Team Hyderabad Hydras is also fighting it out with some other team, and you can see that the brutal blows are going to be very interesting to watch. But Team UDOG, after getting that winner chicken, they're not getting overconfident. They have a very good compound. They have a very good place from which they are going to fight it out. And if I talk about Team Enigma, well, after getting a knockout onto Team Forever, well, they are going to push in on Player 5. Let's see what Player 5 does. And if I talk about Team Blind, well, they are also trying to decimate the fight, and look at that. Team Hyderabad Hydras getting contested by Team Blind. Look at that. The man was at 10 HP, but still he manages to put them down, and Team Blind Pokemon is going to be there. The Master is going to be there. The last two man of standing, and there we go. Master also goes down. Now Pokemon, the last man standing of his team, is here right now to retaliate, but with this, Ace Black also goes down. Oh, look at that sweet fight coming up, and I guess Blind Pokemon is going for that revival. That's sweet. And if I'm not wrong, the last man standing of Team Hyderabad Hydras is going to be Carry. He has to put some worth in the fight. He has to put some carnage into perspective because his mates have been eliminated. Now he could easily go for the elimination, or he could go for the survival. Let's see what he's trying to do. He has AKM and an M416 gun combination. That's a great gun combination for him. And now look at that. He's trying to focus some good utilities onto the point, and I guess maybe one or two guy could be picked up from this nades, and these nades can put a very good 4 fight coming up. Let's see, is it possible for him to get that connection or not? That's going to be the major concern. Now Pokemon also trying to put some nades. That's interesting to watch. There we go. The nade is going on, and Team Blind is pretty much ready for the fight, and they have been revved out. They have been actually dealing with the damage, and look at that. We have a knockout coming up. That was interesting. Carry manages to put one guy down. Let's see, is it possible for him to do a 1v3? I know the chat is going to be like HHOP, Carry OP, but let's see, is it possible for him or not? That's going to be the major thing, because we also believe in Blind, and Hyderabad Hydras are some kind of carnageous player. Look at that. Carry is going for the survival, if I'm not wrong, and yes, that's what happened. Carry goes out with the vehicle, but Carry is getting damaged by the hands of Killua. Is it possible for him to for the rotation? No! Pokemon is going to stop him, and just like that, Team Hyderabad Hydras also goes out.
I mean, at this position of time, Carry was stuck both ways, right? He didn't had an option to run away. He didn't had an option to fight. I mean, the only option left was to stay back and do whatever he can, and he did that. He took one player down to the ground, but eventually, yes, we do have four players fighting, and that's where things went wrong. On the other hand, you talk about Team X Park, Mavi there will be taking Yuva OP. Okay, he is just eliminating him completely. Blind to have a great chance of putting everything that they need. Team X Park has been caught as well. Yuva OP is being eliminated completely. On the other hand, Scout has been dealing a lot more of damages onto himself and needs to patch himself up as soon as possible. At any moment, if this team decides to rush or go to a flank, it can be really difficult. And I do sense some kind of flank coming from these players. Or is it a rotation? Is it a disengagement? Or is it a flank? I'm not sure.
Well, Darshita, as we all can see that the third zone is going to slam in. I guess that could be a rotation for the zone. That could be an escape path. But other than that, if I'm not wrong, Team Skylightz Gaming has been facing a loss. We have Gamla Void being picked off. Team Reckoning is going on on Team UDOG Esports. In the first match, we saw that UDOG Esports was the one which actually got out in the first fight, which actually got out first in the most early fight, which actually was very tanning for the team in the terms of leaderboard and in terms of their motivation at this point. Reckoning Esports, Maxi OP is very lit. Look at the HP he has got at this point. He's going to heal himself and then patch himself and then fight it out. If we talk about Team Marcos Gaming, they have got a good number of strength, and now we have some other team coming up in the closer call, in the close vicinity, and there could be a fight with the Team X Park, and let's see is it possible for them or not. Well, Team X Park is going in the lobby. That's great for them. Team X Park is going for the zone, and Team Orangutan, finally Team Orangutan is finding a good bouncing back stand for themselves. And now Team OH, that means UDOG Esports is again getting contested by some of those teams which are again leading the charter leaderboard. And Team Orangutan Gaming's Pechan Kwan is trying to find out the angle. Let's see what eventually happens. The spray was there. Carry could be picked up from this point, and yes, that's what happened. Team UDOG Esports also goes down with a brutal blow. Team Orangutan, meanwhile, without a loss of a single player, has got 4 amazing finishes. Well, what do you have to say about that, Darshita?
This was much needed to just keep them consistent and on track right now, and they got that really amazingly. On the other hand, you see the sides of Team Blind there near to somewhere the bridge of Chauchapur, trying to enter the zone is as soon as possible, and that's gonna be them just hitting a lot of damages on themselves and just burning out with a lot more of utilities. But right now entering the zone can be difficult, as you see near to the areas of hospital we do have the sides of Team Tactical, and any movement gatekeeping can just begin there and there. On the other hand, we do have some multiple fights happening all over the zone of hospital ruins and somewhere down Katka. But there you go, the hills, the half area of hills is being caught. On the second screen you can see one amazing fight happening as well with that grenade. Well, can he make a great connection with that grenade? Is going to be my biggest question. Okay, he does. Okay, Enigma, well, that was a great connection with that grenade.
Yeah, Enigma Sagi is going on ham on the team which is known as Team UDOG India. In the last match, they were able to get that victory in the perspective just by playing safe and eventually getting a good compound. But in this match, I guess Team Enigma is not going to let them do that kind of amazing stuff. And look at that, they have got 2 frags. That's interesting to watch. But the number of nades that AG2OP is trying to go look at that. Team AG2OP is actually getting tagged out very harshly by the nades, and another nade is going to bounce back very sharply. Let's see how the nade is going to make that connection, and the nade goes in. I guess he's going to get knocked out, but I don't know what happened. Okay, AG2OP has been picked up. That was good. Kishu's need actually got that connection in the last match. Kishu was the one vital player which actually picked off Team Insane players, and now you can see that now Rex is going for the survival. Well, of course the survival mode button is on and they have to be surviving at this point, I guess. Other than that, UDOG Mystic is going for his finishes. He's trying to strategize and see that how many finishes he can gain. And in this match, Darshita, we can see that Team X Park is still remaining in the fight in the 4 zone, and they are still remaining with a 4-man power. They have got 4 frags. What do you think, that Team X Park can come back in this match or not?
Well, they definitely need one comeback. On the other hand, you talk about UDOG, there's going to be a rain of grenades to the sides of Team Enigma, and they really do need an umbrella to just make themselves go a bit safer right now. You just see UDOG Mystic. How many grenades you have, my friend? How many grenades are you carrying? And there you go, Rex is down to the ground. Mystic going in for one more grenade, and that's going to be the sides of Team Enigma getting eliminated. Team UDOG, please let me know how many grenades did you pick up overall, because the rain of grenades was not stopping at any moment. On the other hand, you talk about the sides of Team Tactical right now onto your screens. One player has said a goodbye already. We do have last 3 surviving players, but onto a complete open area.
Of course, the fight was very interesting to watch that how the teams got that elimination. That was very interesting that how many throwers these teams are trying to use. And look, the gun UMP45 which they are picking actually makes them unable to actually get these kind of good utilities. They have good number of smokes, 5 to 8 frags for themselves. That is really very interesting to watch that how retaliation is possible from this location. But other than that, we have Team Reckoning still actually securing a very good compound. Team X-Park, if I'm not wrong, is actually here in the backdrop areas. And I guess that's the really same strategy which Team Celsius played with in the match number 1, and literally those are the ridges which these guys are trying to follow out. And I guess now Team Marcos Gaming is actually getting contested by the hands of Mavi, but still the contestment was not that worth it, and you can see that the tag was there. Viru was the one to get that knockout, but that was beautiful. Meanwhile, Team Mayavi's Nakul is actually going ham onto Team Skylightz Gaming. Well, that could be a great casualty for them. Stealth Radiant is going to be the last man standing of his team, and Mavi is actually trying to get some more nades into the perspective. One good nade, and this could be it right now for Team Marcos Gaming. I guess if I'm not wrong, this could be it for the team, but I guess the connection was not there. Mavi is still empty-handed at this point. Radiant still surviving in the fight, but Mavi is not going to let him. That's for sure.
Well, the God Igel is just trying his level best. On the other hand, when you talk about the sides of, Clutch Radiant, I guess it's really difficult for him to survive right now. You see this, right? No, please, no vehicle. Oh, okay, I just thought that they took him down due to vehicle explosion. Just took him below their vehicles, but no, it was Viru to take the final elimination into his accounts. On the other hand, when you talk about the sides of Team Revenge, we see 4 surviving players with 1 finish onto their names, but they are trying to go in for more. That's gonna be AM16A4. He's just trying to take OG Ash. Okay, that's gonna be the sides of Team Orangutan right now. Once again, will Team Orangutan make a comeback into this match, or they will just see a downfall? I mean, I do have this question because we have seen them being really consistent on day 1, but eventually day 2 is not something that is really working into their favors.
Of course, because all the teams have gained the experience, all the teams have learned from their past mistakes, and that is why these teams are actually facing a lot of wrath from all the other upcoming teams. But look at the momentum that Team X-Park is gaining at this point. Look at the time, look at the kind of carnage which these guys are trying to put forth, and they have got 5 amazing finishes. Viru has been picked up. That's actually really very sad for the team, but UDOG India is actually getting contested by one of those teams which are more than capable to put them down at this point. And I guess Rambo is for sure going to go down, and with this, I guess Barosarak was the one to get that frag into his perspective. Now he has to push in. Now they all have to actually put the pressure into the perspective, and now UDOG Mystic is trying to cook more and more smokes so that they can just blind the vicinity and then maybe escape, or let's say maybe put some carnage's damage into the perspective. But then look at that nade coming up from Gomlumon. That's going to be Scout, and now UMP45 is into the consideration, and I guess last man standing of his team is going to be here, and I guess the fight is going to be amplified. And just like that, Team X-Park has gained 8 amazing finishes. That is actually the most number of finishes they have got in the semi-finale, and Scout is there in the lobby and he has got 4 frags. That is really very interesting.
This is the level of impact your team has when you're playing 4 players strong.
Of course.
You look at that, right? 8 finishes from Team X-Park. I mean, what a coordination between the players. But on the other hand, you talk about Skylightz Gaming. Well, Team Mayavi, Edmino with that vehicle was just trying to go down the hills. Well, Somraj is just trying to spray him down and make sure that his vehicle is into a lot more of troubles. But well, he has to just satisfy himself with some amount of damages given. On the other hand, when you talk about Joker, there he is still holding back that position, and I guess well, there you go. Reckoning Esports players have been caught. One player down on the ground so has to depart. Joker with that DP is just going ham over the enemies. Right now, Team Mayavi do have 2 finishes to play around, but two finishes to play around with. But right, the last match has been a good one for Team Mayavi, and if they really work it out on this map, even it can be a great one for them.
Of course, they are going to work it out at this point. Other than that, if I'm not wrong, Team Mayavi is trying to retaliate a lot. We have some other team also coming up. Look at that. That's Team Nugget, if I'm not wrong, trying to retaliate. The guns were on reload, and then Joker eventually changed his gun, and he actually put down the UMP45, and just like that, he actually puts them down. Now, Team Mayavi has secured 3 amazing finishes. That's good, and they are in the top 6. They are in the top 20 players, which are going to be remaining in the lobby. Let's see how the casualties are going to build from this point. Look at that. Team 8-bit also getting decimated by the hands of Barosarak. That is absolutely interesting to watch that how Team 8-bit is going to go down from this point, or they are going to survive or not, because they are way out of zone. But yes, of course, Team X-Park has got a major chunk of the zone. Look at that. Mavi and Viru are actually going to decimate the fight. Mavi and Viru are actually going to find a good barrier grasp. Manya with that brutal bow comes up with a brutal bow, and just like that he actually picks one more team, and now Team Mayavi is actually with the 4-man power. Manya is going to get spotted, and just like that Viru eliminates him out. Viru actually puts him down. That was interesting to watch. And now I guess Team Mayavi is actually going to get contested a lot by the hands of Team Xpark, just because they have a good grasp of the zone. They are trying to eliminate, they are trying to put the pressure. Look at that, a full 6x scope has been opened, full 6x scope has been pressurized, and still Joker is tagged out. Nakul also goes down with the hands of Barosarak. Look at the number of carnage which Team Xpark is trying to provide. Man, oh man, I would really very want to see Team Xpark getting this victory into their consideration.
I mean, they do have a chance to take this victory into their accounts. It's just that the last 4 remaining team, it completely depends on what happened next. Right now, you see with one more grenade, we do have Barosarak there. Well, is that grenade getting a connection? Please, please, please. I don't know. I'm just so scared when it comes to the points of grenades. And there you go. I guess you already know the reason why am I so scared of that grenades. One player down due to that grenade. On the other hand, when you talk about Barosarak, well, he's running low on HP, needs to patch himself up. But Team Xpark is looking so beautiful and so good today with 9 amazing frags for themselves, and they do have a great position to play around with. Eventually, if they convert this map to a chicken dinner, I guess that's the level of momentum they do need right now.
Yeah, of course, they do need some kind of spark at this point, but I guess we have Rosa who has been picked up, but there is a backup coming up from the scout guy, which is actually trying to eliminate more and more perspective. Juicy is going for another nade. I guess this nade could actually turn in really very ugly for Scout, but let's see what eventually happens. Let's see how the battle is going to form out, and I guess Scout is getting contested by the number of nades, which I guess 8-bit is trying to pressurize, and again a nade was there if I'm not wrong, but still he manages to survive. Still he manages to thrive. Another spray comes in, but Scout also goes down with the brutal blow. Now Team Xpark is actually getting contested, but then we have Mavi and Viru also trying to retaliate from the front foot, and they are also trying to gain more and more frags into the perspective, and I guess Viru is not going to let it go. Viru is not going to let this carnage go, and he's trying to provide some smokes, and eventually I guess 8-bit Raid is the one which actually does the first kind of carnage in the perspective. Now Mavi with only 1 frag in the lobby is still trying to retaliate, and the nade comes up. Manya goes down with the Revenge Sharks nade. That was interesting to watch, but Mavi is still trying to retaliate. Mavi is not going to mess up, but Viru does it. Viru has been picked up by the hands of 8-bit Raid. That is a really very sight to watch. Now 9 frags for the Team Xpark, but still they are getting contested a lot by the hands of Team 8-bit, and this could be the end of Team Xpark from this point, but they are very close to zone, so I guess they should focus onto the zone point. But then Mavi is also trying to retaliate, and I guess Mavi has picked up one of the guy. Tsunami has been taken down. Another nade goes on by the hands of Raid. This nade could turn in really very ugly, and that's what happened. Look at that nade literally bursting onto the head of Mavi, and just like that, Raid nades gets connection, and they have been picked up. Team Xpark goes down at #4, sorry to be exact, with only 9 points. So that's gonna be, if I'm not wrong, 17 points for them.
I mean, a good start.
Yeah.
A good start that the whole team, the entire team needed. But talking about 8-bit, right? The grenade was so pinpoint precise at this moment. The sides of Team Xpark, Mavi didn't even get a chance to move around. I mean, that was seriously amazing. On the other hand, when you talk about 8-bit, well, they got 7 finishes, but at the same time, Madman is down to the dust and he needs to be revived back to his life. So, yeah, they need to provide that backup so that the revival can be given. But I really doubt that the revival is possible. You see the players is all onto an open areas, and on the other hand, well, talk about Revenge Esports as well. The last surviving player just trying to, sorry, Reckoning Esports, my bad. Reckoning Esports, well, Maxi OP there, he is just waiting. You see that, right?
Yeah.
And Maxi, both are waiting patiently. No one is moving, but I guess it's time for Raid to make a final point. There. He's just trying to spring down, but no, Raid, no, you don't do that. He is down to the dust. Maxi OP there is still just hiding behind both of the team, and any moment now, this guy will get up and give a biggest surprise.
Well, of course, that could be a great tiring surprise for all the other teams which are trying to fight her. But look at that. Tsunami has been spotted. Tsunami was actually getting contested by the hands of the other guy from Team Reckoning. If I'm not wrong, that's going to be Team Reckoning trying to retaliate a lot. And that is Revenge Esports coming on the backdrop areas, coming on the front foot fight. So let's see what eventually happens. Team 8-bit still getting undermined. They have 7 finishes. Team Revenge getting 9 amazing finishes. That's interesting to watch. Team Reckoning with only 1 frags into the perspective. They are going to get 10 points if they get eliminated at this point. But still, Maxi OP is not going to let that 2 or 5 points going to come into his favor. That would be very interesting to watch. And now Tsunami also trying to find out one more gap, and they find out a gap. Final boss goes down with a brutal blow. Raid is also going to retaliate for the last man standing, and let's see what eventually happens. Oh, look at that smooth headshot getting connection. That was brutal. Now Shark actually put one more guy down, and let's see what eventually the battle forms out to be. Team 8-bits, one more guy is going to be very onto a very backdrop area, and that's going to be Juicy. Well, of course, Juicy comes up with a brutal blow, and he has got 8 finishes into his perspective. Shark could be spotted from this point, but still, I don't know what is happening. I don't know how they are actually trying to escape from the point, but Maxi OP getting contested by the needs, and there could be a good casualty coming up, but still, Shark is trying to his real best to get more and more nades at this point.
Shark right now is just patiently waiting down to his belly. He is just trying to spot enemies, as you know, right? Anywhere in between Maxi comes up out of nowhere, it can cause so many problems. And I guess that's going to be the only reason that he is waiting patiently. A grenade that gets a great damage onto the sides of Maxi OP once again will just make him think twice about his position, whether he has to do it or no. Well, he just has thrown the backpack away. He knows that even if he just gets located here, it can be devastating for them, but right now it is for the sides of Team Revenge. Shark has to go down on the other hand. 8-bit Raid goes down due to play zone. That's going to be one player down, but it's going to be a 1v3 situation. So now he has been caught, his location has been revealed, but on the other hand, Maxi just made a huge mistake. He was just into the shadows, nowhere his location was compromised, but there you go, Team 8-bit getting their very first winner chicken dinner in AMD SKYESPORTS GRANDSLAM.
Yeah, that was literally very interesting to watch that how the winner chicken dinner got into their favor. They were getting contested by the hands of Team X-Park. Then they actually eliminated Team Revenge. Then they actually tried to fight it out with, I guess if I'm not wrong, that was Team Reckoning also. That was very interesting that how these teams actually try to form and try to learn from the past experiences. Well, that's I guess you already know that in the terms of leaderboard, they were at the bottom of the list. Now look at that. They have got the winner chicken dinner into their favor. So I guess now this is going to be a huge bump for the team, and I guess they are going to easily come into the front foot, or let's say the second page of the leaderboard, and that would be really very interesting. And now this is going to initiate the spark, which is going to get a comeback. And of course, let me tell you that we are going to have a short break after this, and the leaderboard will be there after the break. And yes, one more thing guys, be ready about the switch, which is going to be on Loco, and very soon the stream is going to end on the YT. And if you guys want to enjoy the next upcoming 3 matches, you have to download the Loco app. You have to actually open up and search up the SKYESPORTS Hindi, SKYESPORTS English, whichever you want, language you want to watch, and then actually follow it so that eventually you can enjoy all the notifications and all. And yes, it is going to be very amazing. What about the match you have to say, Darshana?
The map of Erangel was just all about comebacks. I mean, day 1 was all about domination, day 2 is all about comebacks. You see that, right? Talking more with the highlights all onto our screen, the sides of Team X-Park is just so strong with the 4 manpower standing. You look at them, 9 finishes, 10 finishes. They are just going all ham over their enemies with all the level of confidence that they have, and they are just making it work into their favors.
Yeah. They were trying their level best, and the fight was actually very carnageous. And look at that. The Joker was the one with literally 1 HP, and the enemy was at 10 HP, but still he actually manages to put him down just because the gun was on reload. And then Team X-Park put down a rotation, and Manya was the one to get that beautiful finish of Team No 14. That was interesting to watch. Then Viru comes up with a brutal blow of M416. That was the casualty. Scout was holding the backdrop areas, but then Team 8-bit Madman was picked up from that location. But other than that, Team 8-bit bounces back really very sharply just because they were able to pick up Bharosa Rak, and uske baad then after that they actually managed to put down the guy which is known as Gumluman, that Scout, and then Viru was picked off, and after that one good nade, look at that nade getting that connection, bang on, and just like that Mavi also goes down from the location.
I mean, we have seen the level of gunpower these players have, but the pinpoint grenades are something that catches my eyes more. They are just so precise, and that's how this match was being till the top 3 teams were there, and then you saw, right, a 1v3 situation is what Maxi was facing right down there. He tried to take Tsunami down, but despite of that, he just located himself. The star of the match, well, it's going to be final boss with going all out for 4 finishes, Raid with best companion, that's going to be 4 revival, and Juicy for the final elimination, a total of 3 eliminations. And look at the distance travel, it's almost 11,142, man.
Well. It was very amazing to watch that how these teams are actually getting that carnage into the perspective. Team Revenge's final boss was the one with actually 4 eliminations, 1 bonus point, and total damage of 877. That was very interesting to watch. But I would like to appreciate 8-bit Raid also, because the kind of nade that actually went on to the head of Mavi. That was it for Team Xpark, and just like that, they were picked off. A number of assists that Raid picked off was 1. He gave 4 revivals to his teammates. Health restore points are going to be 343. Survival time is going to be 1630. Then 8-bit Juicy was the final nail into the coffin, and just like that, he eliminated the competition. He just got the winner chicken dinner into his perspective. That's the number of finishes. The number of finishes is going to be 3. Assist is going to be 1. Distance travel is going to be, if I'm not wrong, that's 11142. And survival time is also going to be 1627. Well, that was really very amazing how these teams fight it out, how these teams put that carnage into the perspective. But of course, the match standings are also here right now. Look at that. Team 8-bit has got 10 frags into their perspective. After losing so many matches, this team has given a great comeback in the lobby in the 9th match of the perspective, in the 9th match of the semi-finale, and now they have got 25 points into their perspective when we count the position point also with it. Then Revenge Esports with 19 points. That's interesting. Team Xpark getting 18 points. That's nice. They've got 10 amazing finishes. Even though Team Reckoning Esports was the one which actually got the 3rd position, still Team Xpark manages to get the 3rd position in the leaderboard just because they've got some good frags. That was interesting to watch. When Team Mayavi has got 11 points, Orangutan getting 7 points, Skylightz Gaming getting 6 points, and this is the whole situation coming up. So Darshita, what do you think about the leaderboard coming up in this location?
I mean, it's kind of good to see new teams coming up with some great points. You see, Team Xpark right now, they needed this number of points, and if they keep continuing on such number of points, it's not so far that you will see Team Xpark on the very first side of overall standings. To the other hand, Orangutan somewhere is lacking behind with something or the other. Since we started today's day and we are done with 3 maps, I would say we have seen them down to like 5th position or 6th position and not getting that chicken dinner into their victories. That is something that's just catching my mind at the back of the end. But yeah, new teams coming up, new teams, new faces, getting their momentum build up. That's the reason I guess I say day 1 we saw a domination, but day 2, day 3 and day 4, it's just all about comebacks.
It is going to be full of suspenses. You are going to see some new faces coming up into the lobby, some new leaderboard charts being changed right now. I know the team Orangutan is just chasing the dreams. They are just putting all the efforts, and they are just actually being at #1. But let's see how the result board is going to turn out after the break, which is going to be there anytime soon. So you guys know that in the match number 2 we didn't saw the leaderboard. In the match number 3 we are going to see the leaderboard of both of the matches. So of course it is going to be very interesting, and I guess Darshita, we are going to see a huge shift in the leaderboard, huge changes in the leaderboard.
It is going to be a huge change, and after not seeing the leaderboard for the previous map, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to see what changes have been there. Is Team I doubt that Team Orangutan is still leading the charts. I mean, I seriously doubt it hereafter. But yeah, somewhere or the other, Team Orangutan is trying to go in for some at least decent amount of points for themselves, and that's a good sign. Like you're not getting the chicken dinner, but you are getting something out of the match, at least 6, 7 or 8 points for yourselves. That's somewhere a great consistency. It's not like first match chicken dinner and the next match you don't get anything. If you do that, it can be a great downfall. But yeah, being consistent is the key at the end of the day.
Of course, with that, guys, the AMD presents SKYESPORTS GRANDSLAM is going for a break of short 4 to 5 minutes. So we'll be back very soon. My name is Jader. Along with me, my amazing co-caster is going to be Darshita. We'll be back anytime soon. So guys, be ready about the 4th matches and be ready about the leaderboard coming up. After 2 matches, we are going to see a new leaderboard, a new face coming up in the lobby. So let's see what eventually happens. We'll take a break now.
Don't stop, just do your thing, and you know you gon' be on top. I'm ready to go. Feeling like a million eyes on me. I'm unstoppable. If you go against me, then you better compete. Yeah, yeah. Why you keep knocking at my door? Came to fight, yeah, that means war. Gotta level up, wanna settle the score. Yeah, feels a lot better than it did before. What you brand new, yeah, it's time to go pro. Go beast mode, better find a cheat code. On my throne, now I'm in my zone. Man, it looks better than it did before. I said the play don't stop, just do your thing, and you know you gon' be on top. That's my game, it's your game. Say it now, and let the whole world watch. I said the play don't stop, just keep it going, and you know you gon' be on top. It's my game, it's your game. Go ahead, let them talk. Don't stop, just do your thing, and you know you gon' be on top. I'm ready to go. Feeling like a million eyes on me. I'm unstoppable. If you go against me, then you better compete. Yeah, yeah. Why you keep knocking at my door? Came to fight, yeah, that means war. Gotta level up, wanna settle the score. Yeah, feels a lot better than it did before. What you brand new, yeah, it's time to go pro. Go beast mode, better find a cheat code. On my throne, now I'm in my zone. Man, it looks better than it did before. I said the play don't stop, just do your thing, and you know you gon' be on top. That's my game, it's your game. Say it now, and let the whole world watch. I said the play don't stop, just keep it going, and you know you gon' be on top. It's my game, it's your game. Go ahead, let them talk.
Hello guys. Welcome back once again. We are back in another bang. This is gonna be the AMD presents SKYESPORTS GRANDSLAM with the gaming partner Logitech and our broadcasting partner is gonna be Loco. This is semi-finale, day number 2. We have already been passed with 3 matches. Leaderboard is gonna be here very soon and my name is Jader. Along with me, my amazing co-caster is gonna be Darshita. So Darshita, what about the leaderboard?
I am waiting since the previous match to see the leaderboard, and you are just giving me hope. Please don't do that to me. I mean, I am just so damn excited right now. But yeah, anyway, jokes apart, well, yes, I am pretty excited right now to see what leaderboard exactly looks like. And on the other hand, I mean, what is going on? The time is just flying so fast.
Yeah.
The previous day we did 6 maps. Today we are done with half of the day 2, and we are just left with the remaining 3 maps. That's going to be Miramar, Erangel, and the last one eventually is going to be Miramar once again. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Okay, about your excitement, enough with the anticipation. Let's go to the leaderboard. There we go. We have Team Orangutan still reigning on the top. Close to a century. Only 6 more points for them to get the century. They have got 2 winner chicken dinner. Total 55 finishes into their Kodia. 39 points for the position. Team Celsius remaining on the second position. 8-bit, look at the stats of 8-bit, dude. 8-bit is bouncing just fine. At this moment, they have got 1 point of winner chicken dinner. They have got 1 winner chicken dinner. Look at the consistency. 31 point for the finishes, 38 point for the rank. That's great. 69 points for them. Insane Esports also bouncing from hashtag 8 to hashtag 4. That's also very great. And this is the leaderboard after match number 9, guys. You remember, we have shown you the leaderboard of match number 7 after match number 7, but this is the leaderboard after match number 8 and 9. So 2 matches have been included. Total of 6 maps for all of the teams. And there we go. This is the leaderboard, Darshita.
Well, yes, that was the top 3 and top 4 teams that we had. Next, we do have Team Insane with a total of 66, Team Entity with 65, Rivalry with 64. I mean, just 1 point difference is what these 3 teams have right now. Reckoning Esports with 60 for them. Team Mayavi is on the first side and on the 8th position with a total of 54. I mean, some good games can eventually get you to the very first side of overall rankings, and I really want some teams to, just know that eventually if you are able to perform really amazing on some map and decently good on others, you can be really consistent with your position that you have on your overall standing, and that is what Orangutan did right now. I mean, look at this, 94, and I guess if they are playing the next match, I mean, is their group playing the next match? Then it's 100.
Let's have a look. Well, I guess it's gonna be group A into B, and let's check it out that if Orangutan is in the group. Okay, yes, they are going to play the map of Miramar, which is going to come in very soon. So of course, let's see.
Then please show me the 100 digit, please.
Yeah, this could be the first ever team which is going to get that 100 mark into their perspective. But don't you think, Darshita, all the other teams from page number 2, from 11 to let's say 24, the teams which are actually getting on the backdrop areas, they have to gain a lot of points from this position? Because initially at day number 1, after match number 5 or 6, we can see that a good winner chicken dinner could put you onto this page. But now it's going to be very difficult for the teams.
I will eventually frame it like the first frame. The first part is all about teams running with points. The last part is teams just trying to run for points. But the part in between, that's this 9 to 16 is a very consistent part, I would say. I mean, you see them. I know being on the second side of the overall standings sometimes hurts you. Like I want to really be on the first side of the overall standings, but eventually you get a chance to do that, right? You don't need to have rush so much, but yeah, you need to be really careful at the very same time. Talking about the second sides, it's going to be Team EXO with 53, UDOG India with 47, Hyderabad Hydras with 46, Enigma Gaming 45, Esports 44. Once again, a single point difference between 4 teams. Team Forever 41, Marcos Gaming 39, and Skylightz Gaming, that's 38 for them.
That's a great start for teams right now. They are trying to gain the pace right now, but of course, in terms of getting vigilant, you should be also ready about the whole stream going on to Loco, and the stream on YT is going to end anytime soon. Whenever the map, whenever the fourth map is going to show, then the stream is going to end on Loco. So be ready about that switch, and be ready with the Loco app, and be ready to download it and just switch on to English Desk and all. Other than that, guys, we have hashtag 70 to 24 leaderboard also here. Look at that. Team Xpark from the bottom is lifting their position to hashtag 17. That's great, with a close to winner chicken dinner situation coming up for them. At hashtag 4, they were wiped out in the last match. You already saw that. So Team Xpark, after playing 6 matches, has gained 24 finishes point. That's great, but the number of ranks, the number of position is far less. Let's say close to half, and that's going to be 11, and the total points is going to be 35. It's going to be very amazing to watch that how Team X-Pac is going to bounce back and come into the second page, and then eventually come into the first patch, and maybe even a Leaderboard double topper can be there in terms of X-Pac. UDOG Esports is here with 30 points. First two matches has not been into their favor right now, if you can see. In the first match also, they were wiped out at hashtag 16. In the second match, they were wiped out at hashtag 14. That was really very bad for the team. Team Nugget, after getting a 1v3 on OR Jelly, on Team OR, now their performance is again getting, let's say, capped down by some other teams. We have Team Blind Esports already coming back, bouncing back, but still the number of points they require to bounce back is not enough. And meanwhile, Rashida, have a look at Team Tactical's stats. Well, after getting one victory, one winner and a chicken dinner, they still have only 26 points.
They are the only team on the last side of overall standing with one chicken dinner, and whereas Team X-Pac is the only team on the last part of overall standings with a 20 plus finish with them. I mean, you see this, there's a single difference of like a single point lacking behind. You talk about Team X-Pac, they got good one on the finishes, but rankings somewhere are just half of them.
Yeah.
You talk about Team Tactical, they got a great one on positioning, but again the same goes that it's just half off for the finishes. It's completely on to balancing both of the sides. It's balancing off this and that, but let me balance let me take you to the map of Miramar that is all set to the screens of AMD presents SKYESPORTS GRANDSLAM, the fourth map of the day. That's going to be the map of Miramar. And before talking anything about Miramar, guys, make sure you guys download the Loco app, and just make sure to follow us on Loco as well. We are going to switch on Loco at any moment now.
So of course, be ready about the switch, guys. But let's talk about the team which are going to switch their locations, just because the drop, the location, the, let's say, flight path is actually a diagonal flight path, but it is going to start from the south western region. It is going to end in the northern corner. Look at that. You can see that it is going to start from Menazal Valley, ending at Torre Muda, and then the fights are going to be there from that location. I guess Los Unes is a